Folks, welcome back to Zach Popcorn. This is a very special edition here because for the first time, we're going to be reading a book. And not just any book. Before Obsession by Michael Makpati. This is the official and the only prequel to Cory Barker's Obsession. The smash hit. I have in front of me, I have the prequel. I have the sequel. And I also have the huge, the twice as long spin-off. These books were written by Michael Makpati. I came across him on Twitter. I could not find the tweet when I was looking back for it, but obviously people were just making fun of it. And then when I found his Instagram, I felt bad for the guy a little bit because, he's just a guy like anyone else. But believe it or not, off these covers, he's obsessed with AI art. He loves AI art. Whether these books are AI written, you want to think so. I've read the first few chapters, and I think this was written by a person. I don't think this was AI. It's 140 pages. I could be wrong. It's 140 pages, and it all looks like this. It's like half filled. It almost looks like a poem. But yeah, like the spacing tightens up as the book goes on. But without further ado, Before Obsession by Michael Makpati. And then it says Obsession, the First Wish. So which is it? Chapter 1. The Boy Who Couldn't Be Loved. Bear Bailey had always suspected the universe was messing with him. Not in a dramatic Greek tragedy way, more in a petty administrative error kind of way. Like someone in Cosmic HR had misfiled his paperwork under character development pending and forgotten to circle back. He wasn't unattractive, he wasn't stupid. He wasn't even particularly unlucky. Well, he was just forgettable. People forgot his name, forgot his birthday, forgot he was in the room. Once a teacher forgot he was in her class for an entire semester and gave him an A out of pity. Bear had learned to live with it, but he hadn't learned to like it. Tonight, though, he was determined to change things. He stood in front of the bathroom mirror, practicing a smile that said, "I'm confident, emotionally stable," instead of, "I'm one bad day away from adopting 12 cats." He was going to see Nikki Freeman. The girl who made him feel visible, the girl who laughed at his jokes, the girl who remembered his name, the girl who once said, "You're actually kind of cute," in a tone that suggested she wasn't being sarcastic. Barry had replayed that moment so many times that it had its own director's commentary. He checked his hair, he checked his breath, he checked his soul for cracks. Still cracked. He left anyway. The night air was cold enough to make his eyes water, which he appreciated. It meant if he cried later, he could blame the weather. He walked to the bar where Nikki worked part-time, which is okay. Again, we're going to take a lot of liberties here. We're creating a world. Michael Makpati is a veteran. He's no rookie. It was loud, neon lit, and smelled like spilled beer and broken dreams. Perfect. He spotted her immediately. Nikki was the kind of person who glowed in dim lighting. Her laugh cut through the noise like a spotlight. Her smile made strangers feel like they'd been personally selected for salvation. Bear approached the bar, heart pounding. She saw him and smiled. "Bear, you came." He melted internally. Externally, he attempted a suave nod and nearly dislocated his neck. "Yeah, thought I'd stop by." Smooth, like sandpaper. Nikki leaned in. "You look nice tonight." Bear's brain short-circuited. He opened his mouth to respond. Something charming, something witty, something that would make her see him as more than a background character in her Technicolor life. But before he could speak, a guy slid into the seat behind her. Tall, handsome, confident in a way only people with perfect teeth and no childhood trauma could be. Nikki lit up. "Evan, you made it!" Bear's stomach dropped. Evan kissed Nikki on the cheek. Bear died inside. Nikki turned back to him, oblivious. "Bear, this is Evan. We used to date. Isn't that wild?" Wild, yes. Like a bear mauling, which, obviously. Bear forced a smile. Cool. Evan gave him a polite nod, the kind he would give someone who might be a waiter. Bear excused himself to the bathroom where he stared at his reflection and whispered, "Why does the universe hate me?" The universe did not respond, but something else did. A voice from the other stall. "Maybe you're asking the wrong questions." Bear froze. The stall door creaked open. A woman stepped out. Older, sharp-eyed, wearing a long coat that looked like it had seen things. The coat looked like it had seen some things. She studied him like he was a puzzle she'd already solved. This might be AI. "You don't need the universe to love you," she said. "You just need one person." Bear blinked. "Do I know you?" "No," she said, "but I know you." She reached into her coat. Bear flinched. She pulled out a small wooden box. "Come by my shop." "Where am I?" she said. "You look like someone who's ready to make a wish." She pressed the box into his hand. Before he could speak, she was gone. Bear looked down. The box was carved with spirals and roots. A single phrase burned into the lid. One wish, Willow, for the heart that fears loss. So we're establishing that the one wish Willow was... Bear was something away. We'll go into... We'll get to that. Bear swallowed. Hard. He didn't believe in magic. He didn't believe in fate. He didn't believe in anything except the fact that Nikki Freeman would never choose him over someone like Evan. But he opened the box anyway. Inside was a charm shaped like a willow leaf. So not like a branch or a piece of the tree. This time it's a leaf. Warm to the touch. Alive. Bear whispered, I just want her to love me. The charm pulsed, the lights flickered, and the universe, or something pretending to be it, finally answered. Chapter 2. The shop that shouldn't exist. Bear Bailey had never been inside a shop that felt like it was judging him, until now. The bell above the door didn't ring when he entered. It coughed, like even the bell was disappointed in him. So this guy's just constantly going into wacky shops. Whatever. The place smelled like incense, dust, and the kind of herbal tea people pretend to enjoy for spiritual reasons. Shelves lined the walls, each one filled with objects that looked like they'd been stolen from haunted museum clearance sale. Bear stepped inside cautiously, half expecting a raccoon and a wizard hat to greet him, which is also what I was expecting. But instead, the woman from the bar bathroom appeared behind the counter. Like, I feel like AI is not coming up with something as dumb as a raccoon and a wizard hat, right? Welcome. Oh, I forgot. She said, voice smooth as polished wood, so we'll change that. You came. Whatever. Bear held up the box she'd given him. Yeah, you left this with me in the bathroom, which is not a normal place to do business. She smiled. Normal is overrated. Bear opened his mouth to respond, but his brain was too busy screaming, run! While his heart screamed, maybe she could fix your love life. He stayed. Look, I don't really believe in magic, or charms, or whatever this is. Of course you don't. People only believe in magic when they're desperate. I'm not desperate. She raised an eyebrow, which I can't do. I really want to. Nate Ament doing it at the draft really made me jealous, even more than The Rock ever did. Anyway, where are we? He deflated. Okay, I'm a little desperate. She nodded approvingly. Good. It makes the wish cleaner, to be honest. Bear blinked. The what now? She gestured to the shelves. Everything in this shop grants a wish, but only one, and only if you mean it. Bear looked around. A cracked mirror, a jar of teeth, a music box that played a lullaby in reverse, a stuffed crow wearing a monocle. People actually buy this stuff? Oh yes, people will do anything to feel loved, or feared, or remember. The stuffed crow with the monocle that makes you feared and remembered. Bear swallowed. And the one wish willow? She tapped the box gently. One of our most popular items, especially for people like you. People like me? People who fall too hard, who love too much, who are terrified of being left behind. Bear felt personally attacked. I'm not. You are. And that's why the willow chose you. Bear stared at the charm inside the box. The wooden leaf suddenly darker now, like it had absorbed the dim light of the shop. Okay, he said slowly. Let's say I believe you. Hypothetically, what does it do? It gives you what you want most. And what's the catch? There's always a catch. But you won't care about it until it's too late. Comforting. She leaned forward. Tell me, Bear Bailey, what do you want? This guy loves the fact that he's like a real bearhead and knows that his last name is Bailey. He loves calling him Bear Bailey, which is a pretty good name, I will say. He thought of Nikki. Her laugh, her smile, her warmth, her attention, fleeting, inconsistent, intoxicating. He thought of Evan, handsome, emotionally stable, probably moisturized. He thought of himself, forgettable, replaceable, invisible. I just want her to love me. The woman nodded. Then the willow will help you. How does it work? Bear frowned. You break the charm and the wish takes root. So it's just like the movie. That's it? That's it. Bear stared at the charm. It stared back. Okay, but what about the catch? The willow doesn't create love. It creates attachment, devotion, obsession. And then he actually said that. Bear's stomach tightened. That sounds unhealthy. Love is unhealthy, and that's why people want it so badly. Bear opened his mouth to argue, but she cut him off. Besides, the willow only amplifies what's already there. Wait, so Nikki already... She smiled. Well, the woman smiled. She likes you. She just doesn't know it yet. Bear felt something warm bloom in his chest. Hope. Stupid, dangerous hope. He closed the box. Okay, I'll think about it. You won't. You'll use it tonight. How do you know? Because you're already imagining what it would feel like, she said, to be chosen, to be wanted, to be loved more than anyone else. Bear's face burned. She wasn't wrong. He left the shop quickly, the box clutched in his hand. Outside, the night air felt colder, sharper. Pretty good timing with the music there. He walked home fast, trying not to think about Nikki, trying not to think about Evan, trying not to think about the charm, but he failed. By the time he reached his apartment, he was trembling. He placed the box on his kitchen table. He stared at it. It stared back. Bear whispered, I just want her to love me. He snaps the charm, and the lights flicker. The air shifted, and somewhere across town, Nikki Freeman woke up with a sudden, overwhelming certainty. Bear Bailey was the most important person in her life. So we're just doing it exactly like the movie. I mean, Mike, I tried to defend you, or I'm trying not to be too mean, because I was making fun of him like anyone else, and then when I saw his Instagram and saw like the man behind, honestly, it wasn't even his Instagram, it was on the back of one of these, he has a beaming smile. Yeah. He's all proud of his long book. That is definitely not just longer because the spacing is like that. But I'm trying to be nice to you, buddy, but I mean, do something different. A willow leaf? Come on. And he snaps it and it's just the same thing. Really. Chapter 3. Customer stories. The ones who wished before. This one, I feel like I can skip this chapter. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of people poorly wording their wish, and then it goes poorly. Like, one girl's like, I just want him to see me, and then obviously he only looks at her, he never looks away. And one mom is like, I don't want my son to ever leave me, and then he never leaves her side. Yeah, it's a 4, I'm not going to skip it. Back to Bear, I'll read the end of it. The shopkeeper closed the ledger. Bear Bailey was not the first fool to make a wish. He wouldn't be the last, but he was the most interesting. Unlike the others, Bear wasn't wishing for power or revenge or validation. I don't know why I'm slipping into her voice. He was wishing for love. I don't know why I'm saying her voice as if that is her voice. And love was the most dangerous wish of all. She whispered into the empty shop. Good luck, Bear Bailey. You're gonna need it. The willow leaves on the counter rustled in the cream. I feel like there was a part in here that I didn't like. There's a part in here that felt inconsistent. I don't want to call out the inconsistencies too much in the writing here, because he's better. He knows more than I do. Alright, let's go on to chapter 4. Uncharted territories for me. Nikki wakes up wrong. Nikki Freeman woke up at 3:12 a.m. with a sudden, overwhelming certainty that something was terribly cosmically off. So, like, look, the spacing in the last chapter was like this, and from the next one it's like this. So I feel like this is just a guy messing up while he's writing a book, and I don't think it's AI. Or he's spacing it to try to get to 4 pages for the chat. Anyway, Nikki woke up at 3:12 a.m. with a sudden, overwhelming certainty that something was terribly cosmically off. Not, I forgot to turn the oven off. Not, I left my phone in an Uber again off. Not even, I accidentally texted my ex a meme meant for my best friend off. No, this was deeper. This was existentially off. I'm beginning to think this was written by artificial intelligence. She sat up in bed, heart pounding, hair sticking out in directions that defy physics and personal dignity. Her first thought was, bear. Her second thought, bear. Her third thought was, bear, 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 bear. She blinked. That was new. Normally, Bear Bailey occupied the same mental space as the guy who once helped her carry a box. That guy who made her laugh at work. These are bullet points. The guy who was cute and needs therapy and a hug kind of way. But now felt like the gravitational center of her universe. So this is like, she's not this Nikki's just changed a little. It's almost like a more humane but somehow more messed up version. I like my shadow back there. I really do. But now he felt like the gravitational center of her universe. Like her soul had been rearranged alphabetically and filed under B. Okay. This is AI. She threw off her blankets and stood up so fast she nearly concussed herself on her own enthusiasm. She needed to see him immediately, preferably sooner. She grabbed her phone. No messages from Bear. This offended her on a spiritual level. Didn't we already say not on a spiritual level last page? Why wasn't he thinking about her? Why wasn't he awake? Why wasn't he standing outside her window holding a boombox like a man with priorities? They don't even know what movie to reference there. She texted him. Nikki. Hey. Nikki. Hey, are you awake? Nikki. Bear. Nikki. Bear. Answer. Nikki. Bear. That was written weird. She stared at the screen. No reply. Her eye twitched. She typed again. Nikki, I'm coming over. She hit send. Then she hit send again because the first one didn't feel emotionally aggressive enough. Nikki's roommates wake up. Her roommate Tessa stumbled out of her room, bleary-eyed and wearing a t-shirt that said, "I'm not a morning person. I'm not even a person." So she's a little bit of a character. Nikki, she groaned. "Why are you pacing like a raccoon on espresso?" I thought this was written by a person. I cannot believe this. "I need to see Bear," Nikki said, grabbing her coat. Tessa blinked. "Bear? The guy from the bar? The guy who looks like he apologizes when people bump into him?" Yes, Nikki said as if this was obvious. "He needs me." "Did he say that?" "No, but I know." Tessa rubbed her face. "Nikki, it's 3 a.m. "I know," Nikki snapped. "That's why I have to go now." Nikki stared at her. Tessa stared at her. Nikki did not stare at herself. "Nikki, are you okay?" Nikki smiled. "Too wide, too bright, too sharp. I've never been better." Tessa stepped back. "Okay, that's terrifying. Please don't murder anyone." Nikki laughed. It was not a reassuring laugh, but walked to Bear's apartment. It's like, I don't even know if I showed that right. It's written like a terrible, well, I guess it was the screenplay, I think, for a sequel, he says on Instagram. Again, this whole guy might be AI. Nikki walked through the quiet streets like a woman on a mission from God, or possibly Satan. Hard to tell. Every streetlight flickered as she passed. Every shadow seemed to lean toward her. Every stray cat hissed and ran. She didn't notice. She was too busy thinking about Bear, his smile, his voice, his stupid, adorable attempts at confidence, the way he looked at her like she was sunlight. She felt warm just thinking about him. Too warm, like fever warm, like my blood is simmering warm. She didn't question it. She didn't question anything. The willow didn't leave room for questions, only devotion. Well, maybe only obsession. Bear, meanwhile. Bear was asleep, deeply asleep, dreaming of Nikki, not in a romantic way. And she's yelling at me because I forgot to buy oat milk away. That's so much worse. He had no idea that across town a supernatural force was rewiring Nikki's brain like a toddler rewiring a toaster. Toddlers don't rewire toasters. They're toddlers. They're not capable of that. He had no idea she was on her way. He had no idea that she had just become the most confident and most endangered person in her life. He snored softly, blissfully ignorant. Nikki arrives. Nikki reaches Bear's building and buzzes his apartment. This guy lived in a house. Mike, if you claim to be such a big fan of the movie, the guy lived in a house and we knew that. No answer. She buzzed again. Still nothing. She buzzed a third time, holding the button down like she was trying to summon a demon. A neighbor shouted from a window, "It's 3 in the bloody morning!" Nikki ignored him. She pressed her forehead against the intercom. "Bear, let me in." The intercom crackled, not with Bear's voice, but something else. Something soft, something wooden, something whispering. "He's yours now." After that, "He's yours now." Nikki smiled, and the door unlocked. Oh, buddy. Chapter 5. Are any of these chapters more than 4 pages? Someone keep track of that. The morning after the wish. These are not the most creative titles, I will not lie to you. Bear Bailey woke up feeling, the ellipses, good. Suspiciously good. The kind of good that made him immediately distrust the feeling, because nothing in his life ever went well without a catastrophic twist waiting just off screen. He stretched, yawned, and blinked at the sunlight creeping through his blinds. Then he noticed his phone. 43 missed messages, all from Nikki. His stomach dropped so fast it nearly fell out of bed. He unlocked the screen. Nikki. Hey, are you awake? Bear, answer me. I'm coming over. Bear, open the door. Bear, I know you're awake. Bear, I can hear your breathing. Bear, I'm outside. Bear, let me in. Bear. Bear stared at the screen, then stared at the wall, then stared at the ceiling, then whispered, "Oh no." He scrambled out of bed, tripped over a hoodie, and slammed into the dresser with the grace of a tranquilized moose. Interesting. He checked the time, 3:47 a.m. She had been outside his building at 3:47 a.m. He checked the hallway through the peephole. Empty. He exhaled. Then inhaled again sharply when he noticed something taped to his door. A note, written in red ink, or possibly lipstick, or possibly blood. He pulled it off with trembling fingers. "Bear, I missed you. See you soon. Heart, Nikki." Heart, square, Nikki. It's like the other emoji he used didn't pick up, because he might have written it on his phone, or the AI, who knows. Bear sat down on the floor. Heart. Bear's internal monologue. Now sponsored by Panic. Okay. That was fine. Totally fine. Normal even. People left notes. People texted, people showed up at 3 a.m. uninvited, right? I think you meant to go, people leave notes, people text, people show up at 3 a.m. Again, no, they do not. No, they did not. Unless they were serial killers, cult members, or in love with you because you accidentally used a cursed charm that weaponized affection. Again, we want bullet points for that. Bear, I think we're just trying to take up space. Bear groaned into his hands. I got my detective hat on here. What did I do? The universe did not answer, but his phone buzzed. A new message from Nikki. It was a new message from Nikki. We're desperate to get to 4 pages here. Wow, we go to 6 here. Anyway. Good morning, sunshine. I'm making breakfast. Want some? He stared at the message. He didn't know what was more alarming. Bullet points. The sudden affection, the emoji did not show up in the book. Or the fact that Nikki Freeman had never voluntarily woken up before noon in her entire life. I'd like to think of her as more of a go-getter. She has 2 jobs in this universe. He typed back cautiously. Hey, did you sleep okay? 3 dots appeared instantly. She was typing fast. That's not something you can see. Well, I guess if a bunch of messages are coming in. I slept great. I dreamed about you. And then I woke up thinking about you. Then I made pancakes thinking about you. Now I'm texting you thinking about you. I think about you a lot. I like a lot. Like maybe too much. Too much. LOL. Haha, unless you like that. Do you like that? Bear, do you like that? Bear dropped his phone like it was radioactive. Oh no, he whispered again. Meanwhile, Nikki making breakfast like a maniac. So she's back at her house. The apartment unlocked. And she didn't go inside. She just left a note. Which, I mean, that's nice. Nikki Freeman was in her kitchen, flipping pancakes with the intensity of someone preparing for a televised cooking competition where the prize was emotional validation. I cannot believe I thought this was written by hand, by a human. She hummed to herself. She never hummed. She danced while cooking. She never danced. They make her seem like a total loser. Oh, I bit my tongue. A total, lazy loser here. She burned 3 pancakes and didn't care. She always cared. Her roommate Tessa stumbled into the kitchen, hair a mess, eyes half closed. Nikki, why are you cooking? It's 6 in the morning. I'm giving her a deeper voice. I don't know why. Nikki beamed. I'm making breakfast for Bear. Bear? The guy you barely know? Nikki's smile twitched. I know him. Do you? I know him. She's known him her whole life. That's not like they're not strangers. She doesn't like him like that, but they're not strangers. Okay, that's ... passionate. Nikki leaned in. He needs me. Did he say that? No, but I feel it. Tessa stared at her. Nikki, are you sure you're okay? Nikki laughed. Ha ha ha. It was the kind of laugh that made Tessa consider calling a priest. Uh-oh. Bear tried to pretend everything is fine, in bold there. Bear paced his apartment, running his hands through his hair. This music's just looping. Anyway, he needed a plan. He needed a strategy. He needed therapy. He needed a time machine. He had to unwish the wish. He grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. He had to go back to the shop. He had to talk to the woman. He had to fix this before Nikki and knock at the door. Bear froze. Another knock. Soft, sweet, patient. Bear? Nikki's voice sank through the wood. I brought pancakes. Bear whispered to himself, I'm going to die. So this is like NBC sitcom kind of stuff, like cut to commercial. Bear looks at camera. Chapter 6. Breakfast with a Side of Terror. I flipped to this page randomly. I think the first time I opened the book, and that was the first thing I saw, and I was pumped. Chapter 6. Breakfast with a Side of Terror. Bear opened the door like a man defusing a bomb. Slowly, carefully, with the resigned expression of someone who knew the bomb was going to explode anyway and take out half the neighborhood. Nikki stood there, smiling, holding a Tupperware container like a newborn child. Hi, Bear, she said sweetly. Too sweetly. The kind of sweet that causes long-term health problems. What? Bear swallowed. Hey, I made pancakes, she chirped. I don't think she's saying it. Thrusting the container towards him. The singing threw me off. Bear accepted it automatically because he was polite and also terrified. Thanks. You didn't have to. I wanted to, she said, stepping inside without being invited. Bear blinked. Oh, okay. Sure. Come in. She was already in the kitchen. She opened his fridge. She judged his fridge. Oh my god. Do you live like this? Bear looked. It wasn't that bad. There were bullet points. 3 energy drinks, half a jar of pickles, a suspiciously old yogurt, and a single slice of cheese that had given up on life. Oh man, this guy. Yeah, it's minimalist. It's a cry for help. She began rearranging everything. There's not a lot to rearrange there. Bear watched helplessly as she rearranged his fridge with the efficiency of a woman who had once color-coded her trauma. Okay? Nikki, you don't have to. I want to, she said again. Bear's eyes twitched. This guy likes twitching. The pancake situation. Is that going to come up? The pancake situation. Nikki opened the Tupperware. The pancakes inside were concerning. They were bullet points. Burnt on one side, raw on the other. Shaped like continents that didn't exist, so not shaped like continents, and smelled faintly of depression. Bear stared at them. Nikki stared at him and said, well, Bear panicked. They look great, she beamed. He died inside. She grabbed a fork from his drawer, the wrong drawer, and cut off a piece. Eat, she said. It wasn't a suggestion. Bear took the bite. It tasted like charcoal and regret. This is dreadful. He chewed. He smiled. He lied. Delicious. Nikki clapped her hands. I knew you'd like them. Bear wondered if he could make fake a medical emergency. The conversation that wasn't a conversation. Again in bold. Nikki sat across from him. So this guy's just like, these are the chunks. He's just bit by bit putting them in AI. Again, detective hats on. Nikki sat across from him, chin in hand, staring at him like he was the last slice of cake at a birthday party. The pose threw me off. So, what are your plans today? Bear swallowed a pancake chard that was trying to kill him. Work? I'll come with you. Oh, you don't have to. I want to. Bear's soul left his body. Actually, I have to run some errands first. I'll come. They're boring errands. I don't mind. They're private errands. I don't mind that either. Nikki, do you feel okay? She smiled. Too wide, too bright, too sharp. I feel perfect. Bear did not. The moment Bear realizes something is wrong, Nikki reached under the table and took his hand. Her grip was warm. Too warm, like fever warm. I'd fall asleep reading this, and it's like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I've been thinking about you so hard, my blood is boiling warm. Bear, I'm so glad you're in my life. Bear's heart did a weird thing. Not the romantic flutter, the fight or flight flutter. Nikki, did something happen last night? She tilted her head. What do you mean? You texted me a lot. I missed you. We weren't together. We should have been. Bear's stomach dropped. Nikki, did you sleep at all? She blinked. Once. Slowly. I didn't need to. Bear stood up so fast his chair screeched the floor. Okay, he said, voice cracking. I need to go. Nikki stood too. I'll come. No! No, it's fine. I'm fine. You should rest. I don't need rest. You should still rest. I want to be with you. Bear's brain screamed. He grabbed his jacket. I'll call you later. He lied. Nikki's smile faltered. Just a fraction. Just enough to make the room feel colder. Promise? She whispered. Bear nodded. Promise. Another well-timed bell there. She relaxed. Bear escaped. Outside, Bear has a crisis. Uh-oh, things are heating up. He made it halfway down the block before he stopped, leaned against the lamppost and whispered, What have I done? A breeze rustled the leaves above him. One leaf, wooden, carved, unmistakable, drifted down and landed at his feet. Bear stared at it. The leaf whispered, She loves you now, more than anyone, like you wanted. Bear whispered back, Oh no. Didn't we already do that? Didn't we end last chapter like that? And did he actually wish for her to love him more than anything? Did he do the exact same wording in this one? Come on, where are you? I just want her to love me. So it's not like he actually even said that. It was kind of a safer wish. Yeah, it was. If Bear said in the movie, I just want her to love me, would everything have been not fine? But it wouldn't have been a disaster. I guess we're finding out here, folks. That's why you gotta respect Michael McPotty. He's giving the people what they need. Chapter 7. The clerk explains the rules. Badly. I think that's just an excuse for poor writing. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Bear power walked through town like a man fleeing a crime scene, which, in a way, he was. The crime, in bold, accidentally weaponizing affection. The scene, his apartment, where Nikki Friedman was probably reorganizing his spice rack alphabetically by emotional significance. He reached the crystal shop in record time. Or he would have, if the shop had been where he left it. Uh-oh, it wasn't. Bear blinked. He checked the street sign. Correct. He checked the building number. Correct. He checked his sanity. Debatable. The shop was gone. In its place was a boarded up storefront with a faded sign that said, available for lease, no cursed objects. So it's like the shop is still there. It's just closed. It's not like, the building, whatever. Bear stared at it. Are you kidding me? A voice behind him said, You're early. Oh, you're early. What was I doing for the voice? Bear spun around. If I had room, I would have done a spin. Because this chair spins. The shopkeeper stood there, leaning casually against a lamppost like she'd been waiting for him to realize reality was optional. You move the shop. I move the shop all the time. It keeps things interesting. For who? For me, and occasionally for the police. Bear opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again, and finally managed. Nikki is acting weird. The shopkeeper smiled. Good. That means the wish is working. Good, Bear sputtered. She broke into my apartment at 3 a.m. Did she actually? Yeah, she didn't break in. The Willow let her. But I don't think she actually went into his apartment. Right? Isn't that like the point? That she just went to his door? Anyway. The Willow let her in. That's worse. Debatable. Bear ran a hand through his hair. She made me pancakes. The shopkeeper nodded. Acts of devotion are common in the early stages. They tasted like burnt sadness. I hate these little jokes. That's normal, I guess. She reorganized my fridge. That's love. She doesn't need sleep. That's the willow. What does that mean? The shopkeeper sighed, as if explaining basic math to a toddler. Wishes don't create love, they create attachment. They amplify what's already there, you said that already. They remove doubt, they remove hesitation, they remove boundaries. So, in this world, Nikki did love him, I guess. Anyway. Bear felt his stomach drop. Boundaries are important, not to the willow. He stared at her. Okay, fine. How do I undo it? You can't. I'm sorry, what? You can't undo a wish. You can only manage it. Manage it, Bear echoed. Like it's a houseplant? Exactly. Except if you forget to water a houseplant, it dies. If you get to water a willow wish, excuse me, it kills you. Bear sat down on the curb, hard. Why would you sell this to people? People ask for it. I'm not in the business of denying desire. I hope she talks like that in the movie, once we get the movie. Bear ground. Okay, fine. Then tell me the rules. The shopkeeper brightened. The rules. Yes, very important, very simple. She held up a finger. Rule 1. The willow amplifies what already... You've done this already. It amplifies what already exists. Got it. So Nikki already liked me. She thought you were cute. Now she thinks you're oxygen. Bear whimpered. She held up a second finger. Bear, the willow removes obstacles. What kind of obstacles? Time, distance, sleep, other people. I wonder if this guy, was his name Ethan? I wonder if Ethan's going to die by the end of this. Other people? Anyone who gets between you and your wisher. Emotionally, she said. Emotionally, physically, romantically. Bear felt faint. Define gets between. Breathing near you. Bear put his hand between his knees. She held up a third finger. Bear put his head between his knees, not his hand. That would have been weird. Put his head between his knees? That's strange. Oh, he was sitting down. I guess that makes sense. Rule 3. The willow grows. Bear looked up. Grows? Like a vine. It spreads. It depends. It roots itself in the wisher's mind. How deep? Deep enough that removing it would kill her. Bear froze. The shopkeeper smiled sympathetically. Congratulations, Bear Bailey. You are now the center of someone's universe. I don't want to be the center of someone's universe. Too late. Okay. Or, no, Bear's saying this now. Okay, fine. Tell me how to stop it. You can't. Bear stared at her. There has to be a way. There is. But you won't like it. Tell me. She leaned in. The wish only ends if one of you dies. Bear sat down at the curb. Anyway. Harder this time. I don't know why he keeps doing this to himself. The shopkeeper patted his shoulder. Don't worry. Most people don't die. Bear looked up hopefully. Most, she repeated. Bear groaned into his hands. The shopkeeper straightened her coat. So she's like, you have to die, but don't... There's no way to fix it, except there is. You have to die, but don't worry, most people don't. Well, good luck. She straightened her coat, which again had seen some things. Well, good luck. You'll need it. Wait, where are you going? Lunch, she said. Curses make me hungry. That's actually pretty good. She walked away. Bear stared after her. Then he whispered, I'm so screwed. We'd end every chapter like this. A wooden leaf drifted down from nowhere and landed into his lap, and it whispered, yes, you are. This is rough. So we'll probably do an NBC sitcom instead of a movie, but it'll be just as good. Chapter 8, Nikki meets Ian and Sarah. That's exciting. That's actually really exciting. Bear had survived many things. Oh, and it goes horribly. Bear had survived many things in life. Bullet points. A childhood haircut his mother insisted was fashionable. A university roommate who brewed kombucha? White boy moment. In the bathtub. The time he actually liked a girl's Instagram post from 2014. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared from introducing Nikki Freeman, post-Wish, to his two closest friends. He hadn't planned to introduce them today. He hadn't planned anything today. He had simply showed up at Ian and Sarah's flat because he needed... So this guy is like, our guy Mike is British, and he's taking a lot of liberties. But that's world building. He's a fan fiction artist, guys. You gotta go for the ride when you're with a genius. It's kind of abstract. Bear went to Ian and Sarah's flat because he needed 1, moral support, 2, emotional triad. I'm retarded. 3, witnesses in case Nikki tried to love him to death. He knocked. Ian opened the door, holding a mug that said, "World's okayest friend." Bear, you look like you've seen a ghost. I don't know what voice I'm even trying to go for at the start there. Worse, Bear said. I've seen Nikki. Ian blinked. Isn't that good? Bear stepped inside. No. No, it is not good. It is the opposite of good. It is anti-good. Sarah poked her head out of the kitchen. What happened? Did she reject you? I wish, Bear said. Ian and Sarah exchanged a look. Sarah gestured for him to sit. Okay, start from the beginning. Bear opened his mouth. He did not get to speak. Because the door behind him opened, and Nikki walked in, without knocking, without hesitation, without shame. Hi, Bear, she chirped, sliding into the room because she lived there. Bear made a note. I don't know why I slip into the British lady voice, or the Wish lady voice. Ian froze. Where am I? Bear made a noise that can only be described as a dying kettle. Ian froze mid-sip. Sarah froze mid-blink. Nikki beamed at them. Hi, I'm Nikki, Bear's girlfriend. Bear choked on air. Ian sprayed tea across the room, so these people are just incredibly British. Sarah whispered, "Oh no. The world's worst first impression." Nikki plopped herself into the couch beside Bear, close enough that their shoulders fused into a single entity. She grabbed his hand. Bear tried to pull away. She tightened her grip. Bear stopped trying. Ian cleared his throat. So you two are dating? Yes, Nikki said. No, Bear said. Yes, Nikki repeated louder. No, Bear said quieter. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Bear, blink twice if you're in danger. Bear blinked 4 times. Nikki didn't notice. She was too busy staring at Bear like he was her last donut in the box. So, Ethan said slowly, how long have you two been together? Forever, Nikki said. Since yesterday, Bear corrected. Since destiny, Nikki insisted. Since a cursed charm rewired her brain, Bear muttered. Nikki tilted her head. What was that? Nothing. Nikki's interrogation phase. Nikki turned to Ian and Sarah with a smile that was 80% charm and 20% threat. Uh-oh. So, she said sweetly, how long have you two known Bear? Ian swallowed. Years. Years, Nikki repeated as if it were a personal insult. They're just buddies. I don't know why she would. Anyway. Sarah stepped in. We're just friends. Nikki's smile sharpened. Good. Sarah blinked. Good. Yes, friends are fine. Friends are harmless. Friends don't get in the way. So we're just explaining the rules blatantly. We only got 140 pages, folks. Bear's soul left his body. Ian coughed. Nikki, you seem very enthusiastic. I love Bear, she said. Bear flinched. Sarah leaned forward. Nikki, you barely know him. Nikki's eyes darkened. I know him enough. Ian whispered to Sarah. She's terrifying. Sarah whispered back. She's adorable. Ian whispered loudly. She's adorable and she'll stab you in your own sleep way. Nikki smiled at them without breaking eye contact with Bear. I can hear you, she said. Ian and Sarah froze. They're just whispering in front of her. Bear whispered, please don't kill my friends. Nikki patted his knee. I won't kill them. Everybody exhaled. What is going on here? Unless they try to take you from me. Everyone inhaled. The moment everything gets worse. Sarah, trying to salvage the situation, asked, so, Nikki, what do you do for fun? Nikki answered instantly, Bear. Bear nearly passed out. Ian dropped his mug. Oh, no. Sarah whispered, oh, my God. Nikki continued oblivious. I think about Bear. I dream about Bear. I watch Bear. I follow Bear. I follow? Bear squeaked. Nikki blinked innocently. This has been 24 hours again. Oh, only sometimes. Ian whispered, define sometimes. Nikki smiled. Whenever he's not with me. Bear stood up. Okay, great. Fun visit. Time to go. Nikki stood too. I'll come. No, I need to run errands. I'll come. They're private errands. I don't mind. They're medical errands. We're doing this again. Nikki paused. Then she smiled. I'll wait outside. Bear's blood ran cold. Outside where? Ran cold. Outside where? Your apartment, she said. Forever. Bear grabbed his jacket. Okay, time to leave. He fled. Nikki followed. Ian and Sarah stared at the door after it closed. Ian whispered, even though they've already left and the door closed, we need to help them. Sarah whispered back, we need to help ourselves. The accent's not great, but this is what they're giving me. I gotta distinguish the voices. Outside, Nikki walks too close. Bear walked down the street. Nikki walked beside him. Too close. Close enough that their arms brushed with every step. Close enough that Bear considered walking into traffic just to create distance. Bear, Nikki said softly. Yeah? I'm really glad you introduced me to your friends. Yeah, me too. They seem nice. They are. They won't get in the way. Bear froze. Nikki, what does that mean? She smiled. Nothing. But it did not mean nothing. It meant everything. So we're not... Chapter 9 already, folks. There's a lot of them here. And the text has tightened up for this one. But don't worry, the next chapter... Oh, no. I think the rest of the way we're tightened up. Nice. We got a real book on our hands. Bear Bailey had always... Chapter 9. The first sign Nikki is becoming dangerous. Bear had always assumed that if he's ever stalked, it would be by someone subtle, someone mysterious, someone lurking in shadows, someone who understood the basic principles of stealth. Not Nicky Freeman. Nicky Freeman did not lurk. Nicky Freeman announced. Bear discovered that this moment he returned home. I'm thrown off here. One of the candles is burning out. My mom's gonna be pissed when she sees it that I took all these candles. Bear discovered this the moment he returned home and found her sitting on the floor outside his apartment door, legs crossed, back straight, smiling like a kindergarten teacher waiting for her child to finish a tantrum. Hi, Bear, she chirped. Bear screamed internally. Externally, he made a noise like a squeaky toy being stepped on. Mickey, he said, how long have you been here? Since you left. Bear blinked. I left 3 hours ago. I know. I waited. Bear stared at her and she stared back. He wondered if she had blinked at all in the last 3 hours. He doubted it. The first red flag. Today. Bear unlocked his door. Nicky followed him inside. Can I skip this? Is anything going to go on here? No, there's 3 red flags here. It's pretty quick. Nicky followed him inside. He didn't invite her. She didn't care. She walked straight into the couch, sat down, and patted the cushion beside her. Sit, she said. Bear sat, because he was afraid not to. Nicky leaned in close. Too close. Close enough that Bear could count her eyelashes and also his regrets. Bear. I don't know why. Bear, she whispered. I need to ask you something. Okay. Who was that girl? Bear blinked. What girl? The one with the hair down. The one with the hair. That narrows it down. Nicky smiled tight. The one who looked at you. Bear's brain scrambled. Sarah? That's Sarah. She's my friend. Friend. Yes. Just friend. Yes. Only friend. Yes. Nicky's smile returned. Good. Bear exhaled. Then Nicky added, because if she wasn't, I'd have to do something about it. We already established that she didn't have to, like 2 pages ago. Bear inhaled hard. Nicky, she said. He said carefully. What does do something mean? She shrugged. I don't know yet. That's just admitting it, the writer. It is AI, though, but I'd figure it out. Bear stood up. Okay, great. I'm going to get water. He fled to the kitchen. Nicky watched him go with the serene intensity of a lion watching a gazelle try to negotiate. Interesting. The second red flag, still today. Bear opened the fridge, so same scene. It was organized, perfectly, color-coded alphabetically, categorized by emotional tone. He closed the fridge, he opened it again, still organized. There was 4 things in his fridge. What is there to organize, let alone alphabetically? He whispered, oh God. Beside him, Nicky called out, I fixed it for you. Bear forced a smile. Thanks, I could fix other things too. Like what? Your life. Bear closed the fridge. Slowly. The third red flag, the big one. Nicky stood up and walked toward him. Bear backed up. She kept walking. He backed up more. She kept walking. He hit the counter. She stopped inches from him. Bear, I need to tell you something. I love you. Bear's heart stopped. Not in a romantic way. In a, my body is shutting down to avoid this conversation way. Nicky, we barely know each other. But he loved her before. He was obsessed with her. I know you. I know some things. Like, you know some things. I know everything. Like what? Your birthday, your favorite cereal, your Spotify playlist, your mother's maiden name, your blood type, your Amazon order history, your... How do you know my blood type? I asked your doctor. You what? He was very helpful. Bear stared at her. So this is like, it's very sitcom-y. And I think with the right cast and like the right laugh track, this can play on a network. Bear stared at her, Nicky stared back. Then she said the sentence that made Bear's soul leave his body. I'd do anything for you, Bear. Anything. Even things you don't want me to do. Oh no. Oh yes. The moment Bear realizes he's in real danger, Bear grabbed his jacket. I need to go. Nicky grabbed his waist. You don't need to go. I do. You don't. I really do. We do this a lot. Nicky's grip tightened. Her eyes darkened. Bear, don't leave me. Bear's heart pounded. Nicky, I'm just going to the shop. I'll come. No. I'll wait. No. I'll follow. Bear froze. Nicky smiled. You can't get away from me. I love you too much. Bear fled. Nicky watched him go. She didn't blink. Outside, the universe confirms his fears. Bear ran down the street. A wooden leaf drifted down from nowhere again. Like, that's me adding the again. Every chapter ends like this. I guess that's how every episode can end. It whispered, she's growing, and she's growing towards you. Bear whispered back, I'm going to die. The leaf whispered, probably. Didn't we? How do we end? We do this. If 5 chapters out of 9. Chapter 10, folks. Here we go. Chapter 10. The first time Nikki hurt someone. Great title for a chapter. What do you guys think's going to happen in chapter 10? Comment down below. Bear Bailey had a plan. Not a good plan. Not a smart plan. Not even a plan that could legally be called a plan. But it was a plan. Step 1, avoid Nikki. Step 2, he didn't even bullet point these ones. He just went text. Step 2, avoid Nikki harder. Step 3, avoid Nikki so hard he transcended physical space. Unfortunately, Nikki had a plan too. Step 1, Bear. That was the whole plan. The setup. Bear decided to hide at the music store where he worked part-time. It was quiet. It was safe. It was full of instruments he could use as improvised weapons if Nikki showed up. I hope we get the Andy Richter character more in this one. Sarah's dad. Where he was tuning a guitar when the door chimed. He froze. He prayed. He turned. It wasn't Nikki. It was Liam. A coworker, a friend, a man whose greatest flaw was being friendly to Bear in public. Uh-oh. What do you think's gonna happen to Liam, folks? Hey, dude. You look like you haven't slept in a week. I haven't. You look like you're being hunted. I am. You look like... Liam, please, I'm fragile. Bear would never act like this. Liam raised his hands. Okay, what's going on? Bear opened his mouth. He did not get to speak because the door chimed again and Nikki walked in. The moment everything goes wrong. Did he just forget to take these out? Probably. Nikki spotted Bear instantly. Her face lit up with a lighthouse powered by obsession and poor decision making. Bear, she cried, sprinting toward him in the store. Where am I? Sprinting toward him. Bear made a noise like a dying accordion. Liam blinked. Who's this? Nikki stopped. Slowly, she turned to Liam. She smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was a smile of someone who had already decided whether or not you were a threat. So Liam's a threat, but Sarah is not. Whatever. I'm Nikki, Bear's girlfriend. Bear whispered. Oh no. Girlfriend? Since when? Nikki's smile twitched. Since always. He loves to twitch. Bear stepped between them. Nikki, this is Liam. He's a friend. Nikki's eyes narrowed. Friend. Yep, just friend. Yes. Only friend. Yes. Liam snorted. Dude, she's intense. Nikki turned her head towards him, slowly, like a predator acknowledging prey. What did you say? Liam shrugged. Just saying. You're a lot. Good for Liam. Nikki blinked once. Then she grabbed a guitar stand and swung it at him. The attack. That's... right here. Why didn't you just take that out? Bear screamed. Liam screamed. The guitar stand screamed internally. We love the internal, externally stuff. Nikki swung with the confidence of someone who had never questioned whether violence was the answer. It missed Liam's head by an inch and slanted a display of ukuleles. Ukuleles rained down like cheerful, brightly colored hail. Liam dove behind the counter. Nikki, what are you doing? Bear shouted. He insulted me, Nikki said calmly, lifting the guitar stand again. He didn't insult you. He insulted us. Us? Yes, our relationship. We don't have a relationship. Nikki froze. The room froze. Even the ukuleles froze. Interesting. She turned to Bear slowly. What did you say? Bear swallowed. Nikki, we're not together. I forgot the gulp. Her expression didn't change. Her eyes did. They went flat, cold, empty, like someone had turned off the lights behind them. It clattered to the floor. Then she stepped towards Bear. Bear, don't say things like that. Liam peeked over the counter. Dude, she's terrifying. Nikki didn't look at him. She didn't need to. She simply said, stay out of this. Liam ducked back down. The aftermath. Bear raised his hands. Nikki, you can't attack people. He insulted us. He didn't. He looked at you. He's allowed to look at me. I mean, we did this with Ian, didn't we? Why didn't we do this with Ian and Sarah? Anyway, because we need someone to kill. Again, you got to put the detective hat on. Where am I? No, only I get to look at you like that. Like what? Like you matter. So is Liam into Bear? Interesting. Bear's heart did something complicated and unhelpful. Nikki, you're scaring me. She froze. Her face crumbled. I don't want to scare you, she whispered. I just want to love you. Bear exhaled shakily. You're hurting people. I'll stop, she said quickly. I'll be better, I promise. Just don't leave me. Bear hesitated. That was the mistake. Nikki saw the hesitation and interpreted it as forgiveness. She threw her arms around him. Bear stiffened. Liam whispered from behind the counter. Blink twice if you need me to call the police. We've done that bit now twice. She threw her arms around him. Bear stiffened. I already read that. Bear blinked 8 times. It's a little ridiculous. The final straw. Nikki pulled back and cuffed Bear's face. I'll protect you, she said. From anyone. From everyone. Please don't. She smiled. I already started. Bear's froze. Started what? Nikki leaned in. Cleaning up your life. Bear's blood ran cold. Nikki, what did you do? She kissed his cheek. You'll see. Then she walked out of the store. Calm, happy, humming. Bear turned to Liam. Dude, you're going to die. So someone else gets the cut to commercial here. I know. Chapter 11. The first missing person. Interesting. I wish I had like a nice like a warm tea. That would have been cool if I was drinking like a... I wish I was a tea guy. I'm just not at all. Pot of black? I know that's not tea. Chapter 11. The first missing person. Bear Bailey had a problem. A Nikki Freeman-shaped problem. Pretty good line from the AI. I'll give it to him. Or her. AI is a woman. A problem with legs, hair, and the ability to swing a guitar stand like a medieval warhammer. That would be hard to swing. Anyway, he needed help. He needed advice. He needed someone who wasn't bold. Nikki, the shopkeeper, or a hallucination caused by stress and pancake poisoning. So he went to the only person who had ever given him semi-competent life advice. Here we go, another new character. His neighbor, Mrs. Carmichael. Mrs. Carmichael was 73. This woman is going to be absolutely destroyed by Nikki. Wore floral dresses that could double as parachutes and had the personality of a retired assassin who'd taken up gardening. What does that mean? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? She opened her door before he even knocked. I heard you pacing. You pace like a man being hunted. I am being hunted. Tea? Yes, please. Well, how about that? Imagine the 3 of us. Mrs. Carmichael's kitchen, a safe haven temporarily. We call that foreshadowing in the writing industry. Temporarily means that something is going to happen. It is not going to be a safe haven for long. My interpretation of that is that I think Nikki Freeman is going to show up and cause problems. Bear sat at her tiny kitchen table while she brewed tea strong enough to dissolve emotional problems and possibly enamel. I'm not the smartest person. So, tell me about the girl. How did you? You're 20-something. It's always a girl. Her name is Nikki. Mrs. Carmichael nodded. And she's unwell? How did you? You have the face of a man who's been loved too aggressively. Bear stared at her. That's disturbingly accurate. Mrs. Carmichael sipped her tea. What did she do? She reorganized my fridge. Mrs. Carmichael nodded. Classic early-stage obsession. She attacked my coworker. Mid-stage obsession. She knows my blood type. Mrs. Carmichael raised an eyebrow. Advanced obsession. She said she'd clean up my life. Mrs. Carmichael froze. Oh dear. I should be doing an old lady voice for her. Bear swallowed. What does oh dear mean? It means something is about to go missing. Bear's stomach dropped. What? Mrs. Carmichael stood. Who's the biggest threat to her relationship with you? Relationship, we're not. Bear. Bear, focus. What's going on here? Bear thought. Ian? Sarah? Liam? His blood ran cold. Liam, he whispered. She attacked him earlier. So Liam is the biggest threat. I think that's interesting, what Michael McPotty's doing. It is Pride Month, after all. She attacked him earlier. She nodded grimly. Then he's the one. Bear stood so fast, he knocked over his chair. I have to go. Mrs. Carmichael grabbed his arm. No, you have to call him. Bear fumbled for his phone. He dialed Liam. It rang and rang and rang, then went to voicemail. I'll be right back. I have to use the bathroom, folks. I was trying to hold off the chapter. There's a page and a half. We'll be back in like a second. Folks, we're back. I mean, I don't know why I had to make a big show. It was a second for you guys. He called Liam. He dialed Liam. It rang and rang and rang and then went to voicemail. Bear's heart pounded. He called again, voicemail. A third time, voicemail yet again. Mrs. Carmichael whispered, oh dear. Bear whispered, no. He texted Liam, dude, are you okay? Please answer. Liam, please. No response. Mrs. Carmichael put a hand on her shoulder. Sit. I can't sit. Sit, she repeated in the tone of someone who had once commanded soldiers. Bear sat. Mrs. Carmichael had poured him tea. Now. I want to take a break. I need background music that I hope is royalty-free. Mrs. Carmichael poured him some more tea. Now, tell me everything, she said. Bear swallowed. She said she'd start cleaning up my life. That means she's removing obstacles. Obstacles to your love. We're not in love. She patted his hand. She is. What do I do now? You wait. Wait! He loves to yell. He's like Kramer. He's like George, actually. Well, come on, Jerry. Mrs. Carmichael, you gotta help me. Yes, because if she's taken him, she'll bring him back. Bear blinked. Why would she bring him back? She sipped her tea. Because she'll want you to see what she's done. Bear stared at her. Mrs. Carmichael stared back. I'm gonna be sick. Use the sink. Meanwhile, Liam woke up in a dark room. He was tied to a chair. His head throbbed. His mouth was taped. He tried to scream. So Mrs. Carmichael is just like, yeah, you're gonna have to take a chill pill about this. Liam is gone, and we're gonna have to worry about reality. I guess that's one way to look at it. His mouth was taped. He tried to scream. A light flicked on. Nikki stood in front of him, smiling, holding a pair of scissors. Hi, Liam. We need to talk about boundaries. This guy is not even like Bear's best friend. Liam sagged in relief. I'm not going to kill you. Liam sagged in relief. I'm just going to make sure you never get between me and Bear again. Liam stopped sagging. He started screaming again, even though he couldn't. Nikki twirled, I don't know why he's not screaming and he's trying. Nikki twirled the scissors. This will be fun. Back to Bear. Bear's phone buzzed. A message from Nikki. His blood turned to ice. He opened it. It was a photo of Liam tied to a chair, eyes open, eyes wide, mouth open, behind him on the wall, written in red. I fixed it. Heart, another emoji that didn't come up. Nikki. Bear dropped his phone. Mrs. Carmichael caught it midair. Good for the old lady. She stared at the photo. Then she said very calmly, "Oh dear." Bear whispered, "I'm dead." So we think he's getting the laugh. Mrs. Carmichael corrected him. "No, dear, Liam is." This guy's clearly going for a little bit of we're bringing a little comedy to it. My sister got me this mug from the actual museum, folks. So don't try to talk shit to me. Chapter 12. Bear tries to save Liam and makes everything worse. Bear had never run so fast in his life. He sprinted down the street like a man fleeing a swarm of bees, except the bees were metaphorical and also named Nikki. So he uses simile to and then just call it a metaphor. Mrs. Carmichael shouted after him, "Don't be stupid." Bear shouted back, "I can't help it. It's my personality." So he gets another big laugh there. He didn't know where Nikki had taken Liam. He didn't know what she'd done. He didn't know how much time he had. But he did know one thing. He was in way over his head. And also very possibly about to be an accessory to something very illegal. Bear's first brilliant idea. It's not brilliant. Bear burst into the music store, panting, sweating, and radiating the energy of a man who had just seen his life flash before his eyes and been unimpressed. The store was empty. Too empty. The kind of empty that suggested bullet points, a robbery, a haunting, or a girlfriend possessed by a supernatural tree spirit had abducted someone. Bear called out, "Liam!" He said, silence. He checked behind the counter. Nothing. He's not behind the counter. I can't believe it. He checked the storage room. Nothing. He checked the broom closet. A mop fell on him. He screamed. Then he screamed again when he realized it was just a mop. He pulled out his phone and texted Nikki. "Where is Liam? This isn't funny. Please tell me where he is. Please." 3 dots appeared. Bear's heart stopped. Then the dots disappeared. Then they reappeared, then disappeared again. Oh God, she's thinking. Finally a message arrived. "Don't worry, Bear. I fixed everything. Come to the place where we first met." Oh, so we get a little lore here. We call that capital L-O-R-E lore. That's what we call that in the writing world. Bear blinked. The place where we first met. Which place where we first met? Because Bear and Nikki had met, bullet points, at the bar, at the music store, at a party, at a bus stop, and once in a Tesco when they both reached for the same packet of crisps. Unapologetically British, entirely. So it's funny how he's holding back here, and then he wrote the British spin-off and just probably went all in. Mick is his name in this one. "I'm your dad. You disappeared. I had problems. So did we." I'm excited for this one. Where are we? The same packet of crisps. They met in school. Like, this guy didn't... Obviously, the AI didn't watch the movie, but, like, this guy didn't even bother to read it and correct it. I tried to respect you because of your beaming smile, Michael, my body. But you're making it really hard here with your inconsistencies. Where are we? I don't want to lose the... Bear texted back. "Which place? Please, I don't have time for a scavenger hunt." No response. Bear ground. Bear's second brilliant idea. Also not brilliant. He ran to the bar. It was closed. He ran to the bus stop. Empty. He ran to Tesco. A security guard asked him to leave because he looked emotionally unstable. These cutesy little jokes. He ran to the park. A dog barked at him. He barked back. He was losing it. He sat on a bench, head in hands. Okay, he whispered. Think. He replayed Nikki's words. The place where we first met, he thought back. Not the first time they talked. Not the first time they hung out. Not the first time they met. Then it hit him. The bar bathroom. What? The cursed shop? The charm. The beginning of everything. Bear whispered. Oh no. The shop appears. Because of course it does. In bold there. Bear ran to the street where the shop had been. It wasn't there. He turned around. It was behind him. He screamed. The shopkeeper opened the door. You're late. Bear stumbled inside. Where is Nikki? Where's Liam? What did she do? You really don't understand how wishes work, do you? No. That's why I'm here. She gestured to a chair. Sit. I don't want to sit. Sit, she repeated in the tone of someone who had once commanded demons. Oh, we call that a callback. Or the AI just using the same phrase, but with demons. The shopkeeper folded her hands. Your friend is alive, Bear sagged in relief. For now. What does that mean? It means Nikki hasn't decided what to do with him yet. Why is she doing this? Because she loves you. That's not love, it is to her. I have to stop her. You can't. I have to try. You'll make it worse. I always make it worse. The shopkeeper nodded. Yes, you do. Big laugh from the studio audience. Bear glared. Where is she? The shopkeeper sighed. She's waiting for you. Where? The shopkeeper pointed to the back door. Bear ran toward it. She called after him. Bear. He stopped her. Whatever you do, don't lie to her. Why? Because lies make the willow angry. Bear swallowed. What happens when the willow gets angry? You'll see. The door opens. Bear pushed open. Oh, the door opens right on the dong. The door. Bear opens the back door. It led into darkness. He stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind him. He whispered, I'm going to die. A voice answered, not if I can help it. Bear froze. Nikki stepped out of the shadows, smiling. Beside her, tied to a chair, was Liam, alive, terrified, and very, very aware that Bear had made everything worse. Chapter 13. Nikki's love language is threats. Bear Bailey has always imagined if he was ever confronted by a dangerous person, he'd rise to the occasion. He'd be brave, clever, and heroic. Oh my god, I spilled candle wax on my table. Almost on the book, that would have been a disaster. Oh, now the candle on the table's the mug sticking to the table. Let's get the book out of here. Instead, he was currently standing in a dimly lit back room in a cursed shop, sweating through his shirt, staring at his best friend. Wow, shot at Ian. Tied to a chair, where Nikki Freeman smiled at him like a kindergarten teacher about to assign a group project. The AI loves the kindergarten simile. How many similes and metaphors? He's doing this as if he was this cutesy little whatever. Hi, Bear. She said softly. Hi, Bear. Bear made a noise that could only be described as a whimper wearing a trench coat. A whimper wearing a trench coat. Interesting. Dude, what the hell? Nikki ignored him. She stepped toward Bear, slowly, gracefully. Like a ballerina who had recently Googled how to remove obstacles from your relationship and taken the results literally. Bear raised his hands. Nikki, let's talk. We are talking, she said sweetly. Liam muffled. We are not talking. Nikki flicked her eyes toward him. Liam, shut up. Bear swallowed. Nikki, why is Liam tied to a chair? Nikki blinked innocently. He was in the way. In the way of what? Us. Bear's soul left his body. Nikki's version of reasoning. Nikki walked around Liam's chair, trailing her fingers along the backrest like she was petting a cat she wasn't sure she wanted to keep. Liam said things I didn't like. Like what? He said I was intense. Okay, well, he said I was scary. Okay, but he said you needed help. I do need help. Nikki froze. Her smile didn't change. Her eyes did. They went flat. Candle wax is so cool when it dries, just like the puddle there. Cold, sharp. From who? Bear's brain screamed. He chose her next words very carefully. From you. Did I skip stuff here? No, I didn't. Nikki blinked. Then she laughed. It was not a comforting laugh. I don't know why I went into a voice. It was the laugh of someone who had just been given permission to escalate. Oh, Bear, she said, stepping closer. I am helping you. No, she is not, Liam muffled. Nikki kicked the chair. Not hard, just enough to make sure Liam reconsider every life choice that had led him here. Bear attempts diplomacy. I'm retarded. Diplomacy. Fails. Ooh. Nikki, Bear said, hands rested. You can't just tie people up. Why not? She asked. Because it's illegal. So stealing someone's heart, she said. Bear blinked. That's not the same thing. It is to me. Bear inhaled. Okay, fine. Let's pretend this is normal. Can you please untie Liam? No. Why not? Because he's a threat. He's not a threat. He looked at you. He's allowed to look at me. We're doing this again. No, Nikki said calmly. Only I get to look at you like that. Like what? She stepped closer. Like you matter. So shot at Liam and Sarah again. Bear's heart did something unhelpful. Liam muffled. Bro, stop falling for it. Nikki's love language, threats. That's the chapter title. Nikki leaned in close to Bear. Too close. Close enough that he could feel her breath on his cheek. Bear, I need you to understand something. I love you. And I will protect you from anyone. Bear nodded so fastly he nearly concussed himself. And if anyone tries to take you from me, she turned her head towards Liam. Her smile widened. I'll handle it. Liam muffled a scream. Bear stepped between them. Nikki, no handling it. But Bear, no handling, no hurting, no threatening, no whatever this is. Nikki tilted her hair. But I'm doing it for you. I don't want you to do it for me. She froze. Her expression cracked. Just a little. Just enough to let something darker peek through. Uh-oh. Just enough to let something darker peek through. I couldn't time it up. You don't want me to protect you? She whispered. Not like this. Nikki stepped back. Her smile faded. She whispered. Then what am I supposed to do? Bear hesitated. Because Nikki that was his mistake, because Nikki interpreted hesitation as rejection, and rejection is danger, and the danger as something she needed to eliminate. Nikki turned to Liam. Bear doesn't want me to hurt you, she said softly. Liam nodded violently, but he doesn't want you near him. But he also doesn't want you near him. Liam shook his head violently. So I need to find a compromise. Nikki, no compromises. She smiled. I'll just make sure he stays away from you. What does that mean? Nikki walked towards the door. It means I'm gonna fix this. Fix what? She turned. Her eyes glowed faintly. Don't follow me, she whispered. I don't want you to see what I'm going to do. Then she left. The door slammed shut. Bear stared at it. Dude. Bear whispered, I think she's going after Sarah. Liam muffled. Dude! Why are we going after Sarah out of nowhere? A little inconsistent here again from good old Michael. And we're starting out with a bullet point list here, folks, so stay with us. Chapter 14, Sarah becomes the next target. What I like about these chapter titles is you don't know exactly, it kind of just teases you. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it leaves it open for like a lot of possibilities. Anything could be going on here, but I think we should just find out. Bear had always known Sarah was a sensible one of the trio. She was the friend who, bullet points, carried plasters in her bag, reminded you to drink water, and once talked Ian out of buying a motorcycle by showing him a spreadsheet titled Projected Hospital Visits, a Forecast. That does not seem like Sarah. She was also the friend who had looked at Nikki yesterday with the exact expression a cat gives a cucumber. We all know that famous expression. And Nikki had noticed. Oh, she had noticed. She hated the expression of a cat looking at a cucumber. Bear sprinted through town. He loves running around. He's like Tom Cruise. Lungs burning, legs shaking, brain screaming. He had to warn Sarah. He had to get to her before Nikki did. He stopped running because Nikki was already there. Sarah lived in a small flat above a bakery that smelled like cinnamon and regret. I wonder if Ian even lives there anymore. I wonder if if there's any consistencies. Bear turned the corner and froze. Nikki was standing outside Sarah's building, calm, still, smiling, like she'd been waiting for him. Oh no. She waved cheerfully. Hi, Bear. He approached slowly, like someone someone approaching a wild animal that might either cuddle you or remove your face. Nikki, what are you doing here? Where am I? Visiting Sarah, she said sweetly. Why? Because she's important to you. She's my friend. Exactly. Nikki, what did you say to her? Nikki's smile wider. Nothing yet. Bear exhaled in relief. I wanted to wait for you. Bear inhaled again. They love the If I'd like to throw my hat in the ring for directing at least a few episodes of the series version. Bear inhaled again hard. Sarah opened the door. The door buzzed. Sarah leaned out of her window above them. She looked down. She saw Bear and Nikki. She saw the expression on Bear's face. She whispered, oh no. Bear shouted, Sarah, don't come down. She shouted back, why are you with her? Nikki shouted, hi, Sarah. So whatever. Sarah disappeared from the window and Bear panicked. Nikki, please don't do anything weird. Define weird. Anything you think is normal. Nikki considered this. That's a lot of things. Bear groaned. The door opened. Sarah stepped out, arms crossed, jaw set, eyes sharp. She looked at Bear, then at Nikki, then back at Bear. Okay, explain. Bear opened his mouth. Nikki spoke first. We're in love. You're what? Bear waved his hands frantically. No, we're not. Bear frowned. Bear, don't lie. I'm not lying. Nikki frowned. Bear, don't lie. I'm not lying. You are. I'm really not. Bear's talking almost exclusively in capital letters now. Sarah stepped between them. Nikki, you need to calm down. Nikki's smile vanished completely and instantly, like someone had flipped a switch. Don't tell me what to do. Sarah didn't flinch. She dealt with worse. She once worked retail on Black Friday. She works in a record store. Nikki, you're scaring him, Sarah said firmly. Nikki blinked. I'm protecting him. From what? From you. Sarah laughed. It was not a wise laugh. Oh, honey, I'm not the problem here. Nikki's eyes darkened. Oh, Sarah's British. Sarah, please stop talking. Sarah ignored him. Nikki, you need help. It's not the best accent. Nikki stepped forward. One step, slow, deliberate, predatory. Bear doesn't need help. He needs me. Sarah held her ground. It needs space. Sarah tilted her head. Space from who? From you. Bear whispered. I'm giving up the accent. Oh God. Nikki smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was a smile of someone who had just decided on a course of action and was very pleased with herself. Okay. If Bear needs space, she turned to Bear, then I'll give him space. You will? Yes. I'll give him all the space he needs. Sarah exhaled, Bear exhaled, then Nikki added, by removing the things that take up his space. Sarah inhaled, Bear inhaled. Zach exhaled. Nikki stepped closer to Sarah, starting with you. Sarah stepped back. Okay, no, we're not doing this. Absolutely not. Bear jumped between them. Nikki, stop! Why? Because Sarah's my friend. Nikki's expression cracked just a little, just enough to let something dangerous peck through. We've used that line. She doesn't act like your friend. Excuse me? She acts like she wants you. What? Sarah gagged. What? Nikki nodded. I can tell. I see things. I feel things. The willow shows me things. Bear froze. The what? Nikki smiled. The thing that brought us together. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yes. Sarah grabbed Bear's arms. We're not leaving. Bear's arm. We're not leaving. But Nikki grabbed his other arms. Sarah grabbed Bear's arm. We're leaving. Nikki grabbed his other arm. No, we're not. Bear was now the rope of a tug and war he had never signed up for. Nikki. Let go. No. Nikki. No. Nikki. Nikki's grip tightened. Sarah's grip tightened. Bear squeaked. Stop, both of you. They froze. Bear pulled free. He looked at Sarah, then at Nikki. Ron Harper back to the Celtics, 3 years, $9 million. Then at the sky, as if hoping a meteor would hit him and end his suffering. Nikki, I need you to go home. Why? Because I need to talk to Sarah alone. Nikki's face went blank, emotionless and terrifying. You want to be alone with her? Yes. Nikki stared at him. Then she smiled. Okay, I'll go. Bear exhaled. Sarah exhaled. I have a feeling they're going to inhale again. Nikki leaned in close to Bear. Too close. Close enough to whisper something only he could hear. I'll be watching. Then she walked away. Calm, graceful, silent. Sarah stared after her. Then she turned to Bear. Bear, you're dating a horror movie. Bear whispered. I know. Chapter 15. Sarah tries to help and accidentally makes Nikki worse. I'm running out of water here. A bullet point to start again. Sarah had always believed that every problem can be solved with a calm cup of tea, a calm conversation, a cup of tea, and a spreadsheet. She had never dealt with a problem that required bullet points, holy water, a restraining order, and possibly exorcism. But she was trying. She really was. Bear sat on her sofa, head in hands, radiating the energy of a man who had just realized his crush was a horror villain with bangs. Nikki does not have bangs, and she does not on the cover. Even when she goes crazy. Okay, Sarah said, let's break this down. Bear groaned. Please don't break anything down. Everything's already broken. Sarah ignored him. She grabbed a notepad and wrote at the top. Nikki, problem analysis. Bear whimpered. Sarah underlined it twice. First, we need to understand what Nikki wants. Me? Yes, but why? Because she's cursed. I'm sorry, what? That's a shop. There's a shop, a charm, a wish, a tree spirit. It's a whole thing. Sarah stared at him. Bear stared back. She closed the notebook. Okay, we're not doing logic. Bear nodded. Thank you. Sarah reopened the notebook. Let's try emotional analysis instead. Not my best attempt there. Bear groaned. Sarah wrote, Nikki's feelings. Intense, unstable, territorial. I'm glad we're writing this down. Possibly supernatural, definitely dangerous, likes pancakes. She made me pancakes, Sarah wrote. Bear's feelings. Terrified, confused, flattered, a little. Needs therapy, needs a priest, needs a new identity. Comedy rule of 3 is what we call that. Bear whispered, I don't need a priest. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Bear, she tied Liam to a chair. Okay, maybe a small priest. Maybe a 5'3" priest. The plan. It's a bad plan. Sarah tapped her pen. Pen, not her pan. We need to talk about her. He said, no. Yes, Sarah insisted. We need to set boundaries. Boundaries won't work on her. Everyone responds to boundaries. I don't think that's true. Ugh, not people being possessed by a cursed tree. Okay, then we need to trick her. She's not asking any questions about the cursed tree, which I guess makes sense for the movie, because then Sarah is oblivious. Anyway. We need to trick her. We need to make her think you're safe, that you're not being taken away, that you're not being taken away, that you're not rejecting her. Bear frowned. Isn't that lying? Yes, but it's lying for survival. Bear considered this, but he did not like it. But he liked being alive. Okay, what do we do? Sarah smiled. We invite her over. Bear screamed again. Sarah grabbed her phone. Sarah, no. Bear, yes. Sarah, please. Bear, trust me. Bear did not trust her. Sarah texted Nikki. Hey, can you come over? We need to talk. Bear, she texts with a British accent too. Bear grabbed the phone. Delete it. Too late. 3 dots appeared instantly. Bear whispered, oh god, she's typing fast. Then the reply came. On my way. OMW, and then the heart emoji. That I think that the heart just has, like, emojis have that square after when you try to put them in a book. Bear dropped the phone. Sarah caught it. A lot of that going on. Woman power. A lot of reflexes here from the ladies. Let's give it up to them. Give it up for them. Okay, we need to calm down. Bear shook his head. I can't stay calm. I haven't been calm since Tuesday. It's Monday. Exactly. There was a knock at the door. Bear froze. Sarah froze, as did the air. Sarah whispered, okay, remember the plan. What plan? The plan where we don't die. Bear nodded. The door opened. Nikki stepped inside, smiling. Radiating warmth, danger, radiating him. Hi, Bear, she said softly. Bear squeaked. Bear's always squeaking. Sarah stepped forward. Nikki, we need to talk. Nikki's smile didn't fade, but her eyes sharpened. About what? About boundaries. Boundaries? Yeah, the healthy ones. Healthy ones? Yeah, like giving Bear space. Nikki's smile vanished completely. Instantly. Like someone had unplugged her face. Why would I do that? Because he needs it. She swallowed before. Nikki stepped closer. Do you think you know what Bear needs? Do you think you understand it better than I do? Nikki, do you think you're more important to him than I am? Sarah hit the wall. Nikki, stop! Bear stepped forward. Nikki froze. She turned to him. Her expression softened instantly. Bear, I'm just trying to protect us. Bear swallowed. I know, but you're scaring people. Nikki blinked. I don't want to scare people. I know. I want to scare the ones. I don't want to scare people. I know. I want to scare the ones who want to take you. Sarah raised a hand. I don't want to take him. Nikki didn't look at her. She didn't need to. She simply said, I don't believe you. Oh, God. Oh, no, Bear whispered. Oh, yes. The moment Sarah makes it worse. Sarah, in a moment of panic, blurted, Nikki, you don't love him. You're obsessed. Like the name of the movie. Silence. Absolute silence. The kind of silence that precedes natural disasters. Nikki turned her head, slowly. Very slowly. Her eyes were empty. Her voice was still. Don't call it that. Call it what? Obsession. But that's what it is. Nikki smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was a smile of someone who just decided on a new target. We did that already, I'm sure. Okay, she said sweetly. If that's what you think. She stepped toward Sarah. Then I'll show you the difference. Bear stepped between them. Nikki, stop! Nikki blinked. Her expression softened. Okay. I know. Okay, I'll stop. Bear exhaled, Sarah exhaled, and then Nikki added, for now. And then I'm sure they inhaled right after. Chapter 15. Give it up for Chapter 15. Sarah tries to help. It accidentally makes Nikki worse. Bullet point. Sarah had always believed that every problem could be solved with... Did we already do this? Didn't we already... Did this guy copy and paste? Should I read the chapter again? It's the same chapter. And then... It's the same chapter. They copy and pasted it. Should I read it again? I won't. But for the real, I will later on. Maybe it's an artistic choice. Okay. So we have the end of the chapter here. And then it says end of chapter 16. All right, let's read this. I'm going to read it verbatim. In bold. It does the whole Bear exhaled, Sarah exhaled, then Nikki added for now. End of chapter 15. Say continue for chapter 16. The Willow starts whispering to Bear. Continue. Michael, this is where the prequel tilts. This is where the prequel tilts. Up to now, the prequel has been whispering to Nikki, but in chapter 16, it whispers to Bear for the first time. This is awesome. This is like breaking the fourth wall here. This is the moment the story stops being a boy crushes crush and becomes the curse wants him to. Dark, funny, psychological, cinematic. Let's go. I wonder if this was written by AI. Chapter 16, the Willow starts whispering to Bear. Bear Bailey had always assumed that if a supernatural curse ever entered his life, it at least had the decency to pick a side, preferably not his. But as he sat on Sarah's sofa, shaking, sweating, and trying not to cry into a decorative pillow that said live, laugh, love, he realized something unsettling. The Willow wasn't just inside Nikki, it was inside him. He felt it. A tug. A pull. Ayo. A whisper. Soft, warm, comforting. Like a hand on the back of his neck. Like a voice in his ear. Like a thought that wasn't his. I can't believe that. She loves you. She loves you more than anyone ever will. Why are you afraid of that? Bear froze. Sarah was pacing the room, ranting about restraining orders and emergency counseling hotlines. She didn't notice Bear go still. I mean, he was sitting there anyway. She didn't notice his eyes on focus. She didn't notice the way his breath slowed, but the Willow did. It whispered again. You wished for love. You wished for her. You wished for this. Bear whispered back. I didn't mean it like this. Sarah stopped pacing. What? Bear blinked. Nothing. I didn't say anything. Sarah frowned. Bear, you look pale. Bear swallowed. I'm fine. He wasn't fine. He was hearing voices. Tree voices, leaf voices, cursed voices. Oh! That was funny. I lost my backdrop. Alright, we'll be right back, folks. Okay. Alright, okay. Tree voices, leaf voices, cursed voices. He stood abruptly. I need air. Bear, wait. Sarah grabbed his arm. He pulled away, harder than he meant to. Sarah stumbled. Bear stared at his own hand. Is he getting super strength? That's me asking that. What the hell? He whispered. Sarah steadied herself. Bear? What was that? I don't know. I just need to go. Bear! He didn't hear the rest. He was already out the door. Outside, the whisper grows. The night air hit him like a slap. Cold, sharp, real. But the whisper followed him. She loves you. She needs you. She belongs to you. Bear shook his head violently. No, she doesn't. She doesn't belong to anyone. The whisper chuckled. Ha ha. Then why did you wish for her? Should be giving the whisper a voice, right? Bear stopped walking. His heart pounded. His what? His stomach twisted. His throat tightened. I didn't know what it would do. You knew enough. You knew you wanted her. You knew you wanted to be chosen. You knew you wanted to matter. Bear clenched his fist. Stop. You wanted the love, and now you have it. But why are you running from what you asked for? Bear pressed his hands to his ears. It didn't help. The whisper wasn't in the air. It was in him. Heyo. Pride Month. The Willow shows him something. The Willow shows him something. Bear stumbled into an alley, leaning against a wall, breathing hard. The whisper softened. Let me show you. Bear froze. Show me what? He unzipped it now. The world blurred, shifted, tilted, and suddenly he wasn't in the alley anymore. He was in Nikki's mind for a moment long enough to see a long bullet list. Her heart pounding, her hands shaking, her thoughts, I wish this rhymed, her thoughts spiraling, the thought of her fear of losing him, her certainty that he was the only one safe thing in the world, her terror that he might leave, her love, her devotion, her desperation. It hit him like a wave, a tidal wave, a tsunami. He gasped. The vision vanished. Sorry. He was back in the alley, on his knees, shaking. The whisper said, she feels everything you wanted sometime to feel for you, and you're afraid of it? Why? Bear whispered, because it's too much. Love is always too much. Bear shook his head. This isn't love. It is to her, and now it is to you. Bear froze. What? You're connected now, rooted, bound. The willow grows both ways. Bear's blood ran cold. No. You wished for her. She wished for you. Now you belong to each other. Bear screamed. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a small broken sound. A sound of someone realizing the trap wasn't around him. Trap. Imagine a trap crossover. I might ask him to do one of those. Or just pump out a trap AI book. Nikki arrives. A shadow fell across the alley. Bear stood up. Nikki stood there, smiling. Soft, warm, terrifying. Bear, I felt you. Bear's heart stopped. You, what? I felt you. Your fear, your pain, your confusion. She knelt beside him. I feel everything you feel now. Bear whispered. No. Nikki touched his cheek. He didn't pull away. He couldn't. The willow wouldn't let him. Bear, don't be scared. He stared at her. She stared back. And for the first time, Bear realized something horrifying. He wasn't just afraid of Nikki. He was afraid of himself, because a small part of him, a tiny Trattorius part, felt comforted by her touch. Nikki smiled. "You're mine." Bear smiled back. "I think I'm losing myself." The willow whispered, "Good." Big laugh, big applause, back to the studio audience. How much longer do we have left? Jeez. Alright, let's keep going. Chapter 17. Ian tries to intervene. That's nice. And the willow fights back. Ian had always been the fixer friend, okay? He fixed, bullet point, his laptop, Bear's laptop, his bike, Bear's disastrous dating profiles. And once Bear's broken heart with a six-pack and a playlist titled Songs to Cry To, but in a masculine way. Again, I don't think this was written by AI, but it might have been. So when Bear showed up at his flat at 11 p.m., pale, shaking, and whispering, "The tree is in my hand," Ian did what any good friend would do. He made tea, because I think Michael McPotty might be British. Strong tea. Tea that can legally be classified as a controlled substance. Bear sat on Ian's sofa, staring at nothing. Ian sat across from him, hands clasped, expression serious. "Okay, start from the beginning." "I can't." "Start from the middle." "I can't." "Start from anywhere." "It's in me." "What is?" "The willow." "The tree." Bear nodded. "Okay, cool, great, love that for us." Bear nodded his hair. "Ian, I'm hearing these." "What kind of things?" Whispers. Ian froze. Whispers. Whispers. Ian froze. Sorry, I sound like a kid who can't read there. Whispers, like voices. What else? What other whispers would there be? Yes. Voices, like actual voices. Yes. Voices like, "You need medication" voices. "I'm cursed, not delusional." Ian nodded, slowly. "Right, of course. Obviously, my mistake." Ian stood up. "Okay, we're doing this properly." Bear blinked. "Doing what?" "Doing what?" "An intervention," Bear groaned. "Ian..." No arguing. I've watched documentaries. I know just how this works." "I do." "You don't." "I do. I've seen tree." Bear buried his face in his hands. Ian grabbed a notebook and wrote at the top, "Intervention for Bear and possibly the tree." Bear whimpered. Ian underlined it. Twice. That's kind of Ian-ish. I get this. So this guy can capture Ian's voice. Step 1. We identify the problem. We did this with Sarah. The problem is Nikki. No, the problem's a curse. That's actually accurate. Step 2. We confront the curse. Ian, no. Yes. No. Yeah. Ian, you can't confront a supernatural entity. How odd can it be? Bear stared at him. It's a tree spirit. Trees are chill. This one isn't. Ian ignored him. Step 3. We break the curse. You can't. Watch me. The willow pushes back. Ian sat in front of Bear, hands on his knees, leaning in like a therapist who had once learned everything he knew from YouTube. "Where are we?" "Okay," Ian said. "Let's talk to it." "Talk to what?" "The willow." Ian, no. "Yes, no, yes." "Ian, you can't talk to a curse. Everything responds to confidence." Bear opened his mouth to argue. He didn't get the chance, because the whisper returned. Not soft this time, not gentle, not warm. Sharp, cold, and possessive. "He is mine, and you cannot take him." Bear flinched. Ian noticed. "Bear, what's happening?" Bear didn't notice. He couldn't. The whisper grew louder. "He wished for love. He wished for this. He wished for us. You cannot undo what he asked for." Bear clutched his head. Stop, 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 stop. Ian grabbed his shoulders. "Bear, look at me." Bear looked up. His eyes were unfocused, distant, like someone was looking through them. Someone else was looking through them, sorry. Ian's stomach dropped. "Oh, hell. It's real." The whisper hissed. "Leave him. He's not yours. He's not for you." Ian swallowed. "Bear, fight it." Bear shook his head violently. "I'm trying. You're stronger than this." The whisper laughed. "He is not. He's weak, lonely, and ours." Bear gasped. Ian's face hardened. "Okay, enough." He stood up. He pointed at the air like a man scolding a misbehaving dog. "Hey, Trey, listen. Ian, please don't antagonize the curse. I don't care what you are. You don't get to mess with my friend." The whisper went silent, completely, utterly. Then it spoke, not to Bear, to Ian. "You are in the way." Uh-oh. Ian froze. Bear whispered, "Ian, run." "I think I made it angry." The whisper sharpened. "You will be removed." "Okay, cool, love that." He said that like twice already. "Leaving now." Bear grabbed his arm. "Ian, go!" Why would he grab it? Just tell him to go. Ian ran for the door. He didn't make it, because the door slammed shut, hard, on its own. Ian stared at it. Bear did as well. The whisper said, "He belongs to us. You do not leave him, or we will take you too." Ian whispered, Oh, that's bad." Bear whispered, "I told you." The lights flickered. The willow makes its first move. The willow's been making all sorts of moves. The lights flickered, the air thickened, the room felt smaller, tighter, like the walls were breathing. Ian pressed himself against the door. Bear, what do I do? Bear shook his head. I don't know. The whisper curled around them. You cannot save him. You cannot help him. You cannot have him. He's ours. He's hers. He's hers when he's bound. I feel like we're going in circles here. Ian whispered, Bear's trying to isolate you. I know. We need a plan. I don't have one. You don't need one. You only need her. Bear's breath hitched. Ian saw it. He saw the way Bear's eyes softened, his shoulders relaxed, the way Bear leaned toward the whisper, and he realized something terrifying. The curse wasn't just controlling Nikki. It was seducing Bear. Bear, stay with me. Bear blinked. The curse hissed. The whisper hissed. Let him go. He is not yours. Bear, look at me. You're not alone. He is. He always has been. This is why he wished. That is why he is ours. Bear's knees buckled. Bear, fight it. Bear whispered back. I don't know if I can. Good, stop trying. Come home. Come to her. Bear's eyes glazed. Bear, stay with me. Come to her. Come to us. Come to me. I can't stop it, Ian whispered. Then I'll stop it for you. He grabbed Bear's arms. He pulled him toward the door. The whisper screamed. The lights shattered. The room shook. Uh-oh. Chapter 18. Nikki arrives and the willow shows its power. We love to start with bullet points because we're doing it again. Ian had never believed in curses. He believed in bad luck, bad decisions, and Bear's uncanny ability to attract emotionally unstable women. This is the first time ever, right? And she's anyway. But not curses, not until the light exploded, not until the door slammed shut on its own, or Bear collapsed like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Now Ian believed in curses. He believed in them very much. Mate, Bear, come here, says mate. Wake up. Bear's eyes fluttered. Ian, don't let her. Ian leaned closer. Don't let who? A knock. Soft, delicate, polite. Ian froze. No. The knock came again. 3 gentle taps. It's her. It's her? Or Ian whispered. It's her. She felt me. She what? She feels everything I feel now. That's horrifying. Yes. The knock came a third time. This time, the door didn't want to be opened. It didn't wait to be opened. It unlocked itself. Slowly, smoothly, like it was bowing, and Nikki stepped inside. Nikki Freeman looked like she just stepped out of a rom-com. Hair perfect, smile warm, eyes bright. But the air around her shifted, thickened, darkened, like the room itself was holding its breath. Hi, Bear. Bear flinched. Zach burped. Ian stepped in front of him. Nikki, stop. Nikki blinked. Oh, you're still here. Yes, I'm still here, and you need to leave. Nikki tilted her head. Why? Because Bear needs space. Nikki smiled. It was not a nice smile. I feel like it's established at this point. Bear doesn't need space. Bear needs me. No, he needs help. Nikki's smile faded. Help from who? Help from who? From professionals. Nikki blinked. Then she laughed. Haha. It was soft, light, like I just did. And deeply, deeply wrong. Not quite like I just did. Oh, Ian, you don't understand. Ian crossed his arms. Then explain it. Nikki stepped closer. The lights flickered. The air hummed. The lights were always flickering. The air hummed, and the willow whispered through her voice. He is mine. He wished for me. He belongs to us. Okay. Nope. No, absolutely not. Nikki's eyes softened. I'm not here to hurt you. Ian exhaled. Then she added, unless you make me. Ian inhaled. Again. Bear tried to stand. He couldn't. His legs wouldn't move. His arms wouldn't lift. His body felt heavy. Rooted, like something was holding him down. Rooted like a willow tree, maybe. Nikki noticed. She smiled. It's okay, Bear. You don't have to get up. I'm here. Bear shook his head. Nikki, please stop. Nikki's expression cracked just a little. Just enough to reveal the fear underneath. Don't say that. Don't say you don't want me. He didn't say that. Nikki turned to him. Turned to Ian. Her eyes darkened. He didn't have to. Ian raised his hands. Okay, let's all calm down. I like how they talk to her still so matter-of-factly, even though they know that she's, like, completely nuts. She's bonkos! Her eyes darkened. He didn't have to. Let's all calm down. The lights flickered again. Ian's phone vibrated in his pocket. He reached for it. The phone flew out of his hand across the room and slammed into the wall and shattered. Bear whispered, the willow doesn't like interference. Ian whispered, no kidding. Nikki stepped closer to Bear. The air around her shimmered. First it hummed, then it shimmered. Like heat, like energy, like something alive. Bear, you're scared. I don't want you to be scared. Bear whispered, I'm scared of you. Nikki froze. Her face fell. Her voice cracked. Why? Bear swallowed. Because you're hurting people. No, I'm protecting you. You're hurting my friends. They're not your friends. They are. Nikki's eyes filled with tears. Human ones. Real ones. Bear, why are you choosing them over me? I'm not choosing anyone. The willow whispered through her. He is lying. He's slipping away. Hold him. Keep him. Bind him. Nikki stepped forward. Her hands reached for Bear's face. Ian lunged. No! The willow reacted. The lights exploded and the room shook. Ian was thrown backward, not violently or painfully, just moved. The air itself had picked him up and placed him somewhere else. He hit the sofa hard. Bear screamed, Ian, I'm fine. I'm not fine. Nikki, I thought they placed him gently, though. Nikki didn't look at him. She knelt beside Bear. She cupped his face. Her touch was warm, too warm, like fever, like fever, like fire, like possession. Bear, don't be afraid. I can't help it. Nikki smiled. I'll help you. The willow whispered, let us in, let us grow, let us bind. Bear's vision blurred. His heartbeat slowed. Ian shouted, Bear, fight it. Nikki whispered, you don't have to fight anymore. Bear whispered, I can't. The willow whispered, good. Chapter 19. Bear almost gives in. I have a feeling he's going to give in here, but he might, at the last second, fight it. I don't know. Bear Bailey floated, but not literally. Nice. Close enough. His body... Bear Bailey floated, not literally, but close enough. His body felt distant. His thoughts felt slow. His fear felt muffled, like someone had wrapped it in cotton and whispered, shh, don't worry about that anymore. He could hear Ian shouting, he could hear Ian breathing, but the loudest thing in the room was the willow's whisper. Stop fighting, stop struggling, stop hurting, let us hold you, let us love you, let us keep you. Bear's eyelids fluttered, his limbs felt heavy, his heartbeat slowed. He wasn't unconscious, he wasn't awake, he wasn't suspended, held, cradled, like the curse had wrapped vines around his mind and was gently pulling him downward. Nikki knelt beside him, hands cupping his face. We did that already. Bear, look at me. He didn't mean to. His eyes just obeyed. Nikki smiled softly. There you are. Ian scrambled to his feet. Bear, don't look at her. Ian didn't even turn. She simply said, stay out of this. She did that already. And Ian froze. Not magically, not physically, just emotionally. We did that, not this, not that, just ... like 4 paragraphs ago. Because the way she said it, calm, certain, absolute, made something primal in him shut down. Bear blinked slowly. Nikki. Yes? I don't. He couldn't find the sentence. The willow finished it for him. You don't need to think. You don't need to choose. You don't need to fear. We will choose you. Bear's chest tightened. Not painfully, warmly, comfortably, seductively. Ooh. Nikki stroked his cheek with her thumb. You're safe, she whispered. You're with me. Bear's breath hitched. He didn't want to lean into her touch, but he did. His body moved in on its own. Ian shouted, Bear, it's not you. Nikki's eyes fluttered towards him. Be quiet, she said. Ian's mouth snapped shut. So this is at Ian's place, so Sarah and Ian don't live together at this point in the book anymore. Nikki, I'm scared, Bear whispered. Nikki shook her head gently. No, you're not anymore. The willow whispered, let us in, let us grow, let us bind. Did we already do this? I feel like we did. Bear's vision blurred, his thoughts softened, his face melted, he felt warm, wanted, held. He felt like sinking into our arms would solve everything. He felt like giving in would make the world stop hurting him. He felt Ian grabbed his waist, hard, pause. Bear, listen to me, you're not alone, the willow hissed. He is, he always has been. Did we already read this? That is why he is ours. Bear's heart throbbed. Nikki's grip tightened. So Nikki's just letting him Bear. Why can't Anyway. Bear, she whispered. Don't listen to him. Ian leaned closer. Bear, listen to me. Bear tried. He really tried, but Nikki's hands were warm. Her voice was soft. The willow was inside him, pulling, tugging, binding. He whispered, I can't. Ian's voice cracked. Bear, please, you're stronger than this. The willow laughed. He is not. He is tired, lonely, and he is ours. Oh, God, that voice kind of hurts. Bear's body sagged. His eyes closed. His breathing slowed. Nikki leaned in, forehead touching his. Come to me, she whispered. Let me love you. Bear whispered, I don't want to fight. Nikki smiled. The willow whispered, good. Bear's body relaxed completely. Where are we? I shouldn't have looked up. He sank into her arms. I did it again. Ian, no! But it was just too late. Bear had almost given in. Almost, because at the last possible second, a sound cut through the room. A voice, a familiar one. A furious one. A voice that did not belong to Bear or Nikki or Ian. Standing up to Mrs. Carmichael. It didn't belong to Bear or Ian or Nikki. Mrs. Carmichael. Standing in the doorway. holding something wrapped in cloth and saying in a tone that could stop wars, "Get your hands off that boy." She's 73, or maybe I'm doing the wrong voice. Oh, end of commercial. Mrs. Carmichael reveals what she knows. Chapter 20. Interesting. Are we on the edge of our seat, folks? I think we are. The room froze. Nikki froze. Ian froze. Even the willow froze. You could say the room froze. Because Mrs. Carmichael, 73, floral dress, hair in a bun that could deflect bullets, stepped into the flat like she owned the place. She shut the door behind her, like she was closing a cage. "Mrs. Carmichael, how did you..." She held up a hand. Ian stopped talking. Nikki turned slowly like a predator sizing up a new threat. Predator simile again. "Who are you?" "Oh, sweetheart, I'm the woman who's going to save that boy from you." Nikki blinked. "Haha," then she laughed. "Haha." It was soft. "Haha, sweet. And deeply, deeply wrong. We've done that verbatim. I know it. You can't save him. He's mine." Mrs. Carmichael stepped forward. "No, he's a child who made a stupid wish." "Mrs. Carmichael, please don't." Bear half collapsed on the floor, whispered. She ignored him. She walked right past Ian, right past a shattered glass and past the humming air. But it was shimmering now. She stepped in front of Nikki. Close. Too close. Mrs. Carmichael looked her up and down. "You're young. You're scared and you're not in control." Nikki's eyes narrowed. "I'm in control of everything." Mrs. Carmichael snorted. "Oh, please, I've seen toddlers with more self-control." Nikki's expression cracked. Just a little. Just enough to reveal the fear. Underneath. Mrs. Carmichael leaned in. "You think this is love?" She whispered. "This isn't love. This is the willow using you like a glove puppet." Nikki flinched. The willow hissed through her voice. "You do not know us. You do not speak for us. You do not belong here." Mrs. Carmichael smiled. "Oh, I know you. I knew you before these children were born." Nikki blinked. "What?" Mrs. Carmichael straightened her dress. "I've seen your kind before, back when I was young and stupid and thought magic was romantic." Ian whispered. "Mrs. Carmichael, what are you saying?" She didn't look at him. She kept her eyes on Nikki. I'm saying that the willow isn't new. It's old. Older than me. Older than this bloody town." Nikki's voice trembled. "You're lying." I don't know why that would be a problem for her. "No, dear, I'm remembering," Bear whispered. "Mrs. Carmichael, what did you do?" She finally looked at him. "Something very foolish. Something very much like what you did." Bear's breath caught. You made a wish." "A long time ago." What happened?" "What happened?" Ian stared. Mrs. Carmichael's smile faded. "It took him, just like it's trying to take you." Mrs. Bear's stomach dropped. Nikki's face twisted. "He belongs to me." Mrs. Carmichael turned to him. "No, he belongs to himself." The willow hissed. The air thickened. Mrs. Carmichael didn't finish. She reacted into the cloth bundle she'd brought. She unwrapped it. Inside was something small, old, wooden and carved. A charm just like Bear's, but cracked, splintered, dead. "What is that?" Nikki recoiled. Mrs. Carmichael held it up. "A reminder of what happens when the willow grows too deep." Bear whispered. "What happened to you?" She looked at him. Her voice softened. "It broke, and when it broke, so did he." I'm dropping the voice there for that one line. Bear's heart stopped. Ian whispered, "Mrs. Carmichael, what are you saying?" "Yes, if this continues, one of them will die." Nikki's eyes widened. Bear's breath hitched. The willow's voice louder. Mrs. Carmichael stepped between Nikki and Bear. "You're not taking him." Nikki's voice cracked. "I'm not trying to take him. I'm trying to keep him." Mrs. Carmichael shook her head. "No, dear, you're trying to keep the part of him the willow wants." Nikki trembled. "I love him." Mrs. Carmichael's voice softened. "I know you do, but it's not your love. It's the willow's." Nikki shook her head. She shook her head violently. I should have had the voice there. No, it's mine." Mrs. Carmichael sighed. "Oh, sweetheart, that's what I said too." The room went silent. Everyone stared at her. Mrs. Carmichael took a deep breath. "Now let's talk. Where am I? Let's talk about how to stop this before it kills one of you." So we're gonna fix this with reasoning. Perry Barker had to resort to violence because he's not as good of a writer as Michael. But we're gonna fix this with good old fashioned REASON, reasoning. Chapter 21: The Truth About the Willow. The room felt different now. Not calmer, not safer, just aware, like the willow itself was listening. Mrs. Carmichael stood in the center, floral dress swaying slightly, cracked charm in hand. Eyes widened, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Nikki stood opposite her, trembling like a mix of fear, fury, and something deeper, something that wasn't entirely hers. Bear lay on the floor, half concussed. Ian hovered beside him, ready to intervene again, even though he had no idea how. "Right, let's begin." Mrs. Carmichael held up the broken chime. This is a fragment of a..." I don't want to have to do the voice this whole chapter. is a fragment of a willow binding. Old, very old. Older than the shopkeeper, older than the town, older than the stories people tell you. Nikki's voice shook. You're lying. Mrs. Carmichael ignored her. The willow isn't a tree. Not really. It's an idea, a hunger, that grows out of human longing. Ian frowned. What's that mean? Mrs. Carmichael turned to him. It means that the willow was born from people who wanted to love so desperately that they were willing to break the world to get it. Nice. Bear whispered, I didn't want to break anything. I know, dear, but the willow doesn't care what you meant. It cares what you felt. Nicky stepped forward. He wanted me. Mrs. Carmichael nodded. Yes, and that was enough. Mrs. Carmichael paced slowly. The willow doesn't create love, she said. It amplifies attachment. It removes doubt. It strips away fear. It takes whatever feeling exists and grows it until it becomes the only thing left. Nicky whispered, that's love. Mrs. Carmichael shook her head. No, dear, that's obsession wearing love's clothes. You don't understand. So she can say obsession. Oh, I do. I understand it better than anyone. She held up the broken charm. This belonged to someone I loved, someone I wished for. Someone the willow gave me. Bear's breath caught. What happened to him? Mrs. Carmichael's voice cracked. He loved me too much. Oh, the case studies. I should have read them earlier. I blew through them earlier. So much that he stopped being himself, so much that he stopped being anything at all. Ian whispered, Mrs. Carmichael. She continued. When the charm broke, the bond snapped, and he didn't survive it. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. That won't happen to Bear, Nicky said. Mrs. Carmichael turned to her. It will. If this continues, it probably will. Nicky shook her head violently. I won't let it happen. Mrs. Carmichael stepped closer. You won't get to choose. It's the willow's choice. Mrs. Carmichael knelt beside Bear. Bear, look at me. He did, barely. Her eyes were glassy. His eyes were glassy, unfocused, threaded with something that wasn't entirely human. Mrs. Carmichael touched his cheek. You feel it, don't you? She whispered. The pull, the warmth, the certainty. Bear nodded weakly. It feels safe. See? He needs me. Mrs. Carmichael snapped. He needs himself. She turned back to Bear. That feeling isn't love. It's surrender. Bear's voice hitched. Mrs. Carmichael continued. The willow binds people together, but it doesn't bind them equally. One becomes the anchor, the other the vessel. Of the voices. The other's the vessel. Which is which? Ian said. Mrs. Carmichael looked at Nicky. You're the anchor. Then she looked at Bear. It's a vessel. Bear whispered. And what does that mean? Mrs. Carmichael exhaled. It means the willow grows through you. It means your emotions faded. It means your fear, your longing, your loneliness. All of it becomes fuel. Nicky stepped forward. And me? Mrs. Carmichael's voice softened. You're the one it uses to deliver the bond. Nicky blinked. Deliver? Mrs. Carmichael nodded. You're the conduit, the carrier, the one who feels everything first. Nicky's voice cracked. So it's not my love? Mrs. Carmichael shook her head. It's not your love. I thought that was the door, but it was my chair. The big guy making the chair creak. But it's not your choice. Mrs. Carmichael stood. The willow has one goal, to create a bond so strong that nothing can break it. Ian swallowed. Ian swallowed. And if something does break it, Mrs. Carmichael looked at him. Then one of them dies. Bear's heart stopped. Nicky's breath caught. Ian whispered, Which one? Which one? Mrs. Carmichael closed her eyes. The vessel. Always the vessel. Bear whispered, No. Me. Nicky whispered, No. Mrs. Carmichael nodded. Yes. Nicky shook her head violently. No, I won't let it happen. I'll protect him. You can't protect him. Not from this, not from yourself. I love him. I know, dear. That's why the willow chose you. The willow chose her and not Bear. Interesting. How do we stop it? Mrs. Carmichael looked around the room. You don't. Not without a cost. What cost? Bear whispered. Mrs. Carmichael met his eyes. Something has to break the bond and someone has to survive. I'll do it. Mrs. Carmichael shook her head after Nicky said that because I didn't say that she did. No, it has to be him. Bear froze. Nicky froze. Mrs. Carmichael, what happens if Bear tries to break it? Mrs. Carmichael looked at him. Her voice was silent, steady, final. He dies. We have to end with one of those lines every time. I'd like someone to do a counter. Leave that below. How many chapters end with just like, yep, Bear's gonna die. Chapter 22, The Impossible Choice. The room felt too small, too bright, too loud. Bear barely sat on the floor. Mrs. Carmichael stood between them all, cracked, charm in hand, eyes sharp and sad. No one spoke, no one breathed. Finally, Bear whispered, What do you mean I die? The willow binds people together, but the bond isn't balanced. The anchor survives the break, the vessel doesn't. And I'm the vessel. We've established that. Nicky shook her head violently. No, that's wrong. He can't die. I won't let him. You don't got no choice. But I love him. I know, dear. That's why it's so cruel, isn't it? Nicky stepped toward Bear. Not threatening, not aggressive, just desperate. Bear, don't listen to her. We can fix this. We can be together. We can... Bear flinched. Nikki froze. Her voice broke. Bear, please don't be afraid of me. Bear looked at her. She's really trying to reason. There's a lot more conversation in this one, which I like. She wasn't a... Bear looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't a monster. She wasn't a villain. She was a girl who had wanted love so badly she'd reached for something she didn't understand. And now she was drowning in it. Nikki, I'm not afraid of you. She blinked. Hope flickered. Then Bear added, I'm afraid of what the willow is doing to us. Nikki's breath hitched. I'm not doing anything. I'm just loving you. No, you're being used. Nikki's eyes filled with tears. I don't want to be used. I know. I just want him. Mrs. Carmichael whispered back. That's the willow's point. That's the willow talking, I meant to say. Bear pressed his palms to his hands. I can't do this. I can't choose between dying and hurting her. Ian knelt beside him. Bear, you're not choosing alone. But I am. It's my bond, my wish, my fault. Bear, listen to me. The willow doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't care about intention. It cares about attachment. So what do I do? Mrs. Carmichael hesitated. You have to decide whether to keep the bond or break it. Simple choice. Nikki whispered, Bear, choose me. Ian whispered, Bear, choose yourself. Mrs. Carmichael whispered, Bear, choose survival. Bear whispered, I can't. Nikki stepped closer. Fragile, human. Bear, I don't want you to die. I can't lose you. Bear's heart twisted. Nikki. She knelt in front of him. Tears streamed down her face. I don't know who I am without you. I don't know how to stop feeling this. I don't know how to stop feeling this. I don't know how to turn it off. Bear reached out instinctively. Nikki grabbed his hand, held it tight, too tight. Please, don't leave me. The willow whispered through her. He cannot leave. He is bound. Bear flinched. Nikki did too. She whispered, I don't want to hurt you. Mrs. Carmichael said quietly, You already are. Bear looked at Nikki, then at Ian, then at Mrs. Carmichael, then at the cracked charm in his hand. He whispered, If I keep this bond, what happens? You lose yourself piece by piece, thought by thought, until you're not Bear no more, you're just hers. Nikki whispered, That's not true. Mrs. Carmichael didn't look away. And if I break it? Mrs. Carmichael's voice softened. You die. Silence. Absolute silence. Again. Bear whispered, So either way, I disappear. I'm afraid so. Bear, please. Nikki sobbed. Bear closed his eyes. He whispered, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose you. You can't have both. Bear opened his eyes. Tears streamed down his face. What do I do? No one answered. Because there was no answer. Not yet, not without a cost, nor sacrifice, nor without breaking something, or someone, and the willow whispered, Choose, choose, choose. Chapter 23. A lot of bold text here in chapter 23. 10 chapters and like 35 pages left. Nikki Freeman had never felt so many things at once. Fear, love, panic, possession, and underneath it all, a small trembling voice that still belonged to her. Okay, nice. Nikki makes her own choice, what this chapter's called. If the bond breaks, he dies. If it doesn't, he disappears. Nikki couldn't breathe. She couldn't think or move, because for the first time, the willow took root inside her. Since the willow took root inside her, she noticed something horrifying. She was the danger. Not Ian, Bear, or Mrs. Carmichael. Her love, her longing, her wish, her. I don't want him to die. I know. I don't want him to disappear. I know. I don't want to lose him. I know, dear. Nikki's voice cracked. So what do I do? The air shifted. The lights dimmed. The willow whispered through her bones. Do nothing. Stay still. Hold him. He is yours. He's ours. Nikki flinched. She pressed her hand to her ears. Stop, 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 stop. The whispers grew louder. He wished for you. He chose you. He belongs to you. Do not let them take him. Nikki shook her head violently. No, that's not true. He didn't choose this. The willow hissed. He did. He wanted love. He wanted you. You are his wish. You are his fate. Nikki screamed. A raw human sound. Ian jumped. Bear flinched. Mrs. Carmichael didn't move. She simply said, Oh, the music stopped. Fight it! That's what Mrs. Carmichael said. Nikki dropped to her knees. Her hands shook. Bear, I'm hurting you. Bear, still half collapsed, looked at her. His eyes were glassy. Nikki, it's not your fault. She shook her head. It is. I wished for you. I wanted you. I let it in. No, you didn't let it in. It found you. It always found the ones who feel too deeply. So deep down, Nikki just wanted Bear so bad that she had to get cursed, is what is the point of this one. I don't want to feel this, Nikki sobbed. Then choose something else. What? Oh, Nikki looked up. Choose to let him go. Everyone stopped and froze and everything. Let him go? It's the only way to save him. No, I can't. I can't lose him. You're not losing him, you're saving him. But I'll break. I know. Bear forced himself upright. His limbs trembled. His vision blurred, but he managed to reach out and touch Nikki's hand. Nikki, look at me. I don't want you to die. Nikki's breath hitched. I know, but I don't want to lose you either. Nikki sobbed. Then what do we do? Bear swallowed. So he wants this to... Alright, this bear is maybe worse. Bear swallowed. I don't know. The willow whispered, choose us. Choose the bond. Let go of yourself. Be hers. Bear flinched. Nikki saw it. Something inside her snapped in the awakening way. Nikki's choice. Nikki stood, slowly, deliberately. Her hands shook. Her breath trembled. Her eyes were full of tears. She looked at Mrs. Carmichael, Ian, and Bear, then at the charm in the hand. She whispered, if breaking the bond kills him, and keeping it kills him, then I won't let either happen. Her voice stiffened. Where am I? Mrs. Carmichael's frowned. Nikki! Nikki stepped back. Her voice steadied. I'll take the bond. Bear froze. What? Nikki nodded. I'll take it. All of it. Into me. Away from him. Nikki, no. Nikki continued. If the willow needs a vessel, it can have me. Bear shook his head violently. Nikki, no, you'll... Or no, that was... Nikki, no, you'll... I know. Ian whispered. Nikki, that's suicide. Why do you have to whisper? There's a lot of whispering going on. Jesus. Nikki looked at Bear. Her voice broke. I'd rather die loving you than live long enough to destroy you. The willow screamed inside her. No, he's ours. You cannot take him. You cannot break the root. Nikki clutched her head. She screamed. Mrs. Carmichael shouted, Nikki, no! But Nikki didn't stop. She made her choice. She whispered, take me instead. And the willow answered. I'm starving, but it is not... I have to finish this book, and then it's lunchtime, folks. I'm finishing this book for you. Chapter 24. The willow fights back. The moment Nikki said, take me instead, the room changed. But spiritually. I'm trying to zip through this. The air tightened, the lights dimmed. Oh no. What's happening? Bear whispered. Nikki, what did you do? Nikki didn't answer. She couldn't, because the willow answered for her. A sound filled the room, a pressure, a vibration. The willow spoke through Nikki's body, not in words but in a feeling, rejection, defiance, and betrayal. Nikki clutched her head. Her knees buckled. She gasped. It's angry. Nikki grasped her shoulders. Of course it's angry. You're trying to take its vessel. Nikki shook violently. I don't care. I will let it take him. The willow hissed through her. You are not the anchor. You do not choose. You are the anchor. You do not choose. You do not command. You obey. Nikki screamed. Bear tried to stand. He couldn't. His legs wouldn't move. His arms wouldn't lift. Oh, he felt the bond tightening around him like vines. Nikki, stop. You'll hurt yourself. Nikki shook her head violently. I don't care. Mrs. Carmichael grabbed her face. Nikki, listen to me. But Nikki wasn't listening. She was fighting the bond pulls. The willow surged, not outward, inward, into Bear, into Nikki, into the space between them. Bear felt it like a hook in his chest, a pull, a yank. Hey now, a command. Come to her, come to us, come home. Bear's body lurched forward. Ian grabbed him. Bear, stay with me. Bear's voice cracked. I can't, it's pulling. Ian held tighter. Fight it. The willow hissed. He cannot. He is ours. Bear's vision blurred. His heartbeat slowed. His breath caught. He whispered, Nikki, please. Nikki heard him, and something inside her snapped. Not in surrender, in defiance. Nikki stood, shaking, crying, terrified. A lot of just one word. Look at this thing. But standing, she looked at Bear, then at Mrs. Carmichael, then at the empty air where the willow's presence pressed hard set, and she said, with the voice that was hers, and hers alone, no. The willow recoiled. No, no. You do not say no. No? No? You do not say no. Nikki stepped forward. I do now. Nice. The willow surged. The lights flickered violently. Nikki, stop! That was Ian. Nikki, don't push it. But Nikki pushed. She screamed, take me instead. Nikki was thrown backward, not physically, spiritually. We did that already. Emotionally, her mind buckled. She collapsed to her knees. Bear screamed, Nikki! Bear, don't move! Nikki, look at me! Mrs. Carmichael rushed to her side. It's inside me. Mrs. Carmichael grabbed her face. Fight it! Nikki shook her head weakly. I can't, it's too strong. You are mine, you are the anchor. You do not break the root. I'm trying, Nikki sobbed. Bear crawled toward her. Ian tried to stop him. He couldn't. Bear reached Nikki. He grabbed her hand. Nikki, you're not alone, the willow hissed. He is not yours. He is ours. Nikki screamed. Bear screamed. The bond flared between them like a burning wire. Mrs. Carmichael shouted, stop touching each other. But it was too late. The willow surged, the bond tightened, and for a moment, just a moment, Bear and Nikki saw each other's minds. Her fear, her guilt, her longing, his loneliness. Her fear, his guilt, her longing, his loneliness, her love, his confusion. Then her desperation, his breaking point. Then the connection snapped. Not fully, not cleanly, but enough to throw them both backward. Okay, nice. Bear hit the sofa, Nikki the floor. Bear! Mrs. Carmichael shouted, Nikki! The willow whispered, you can't break me. You can't choose. Nikki whispered back, watch me. So much whispering going on. Chapter 25, the bond begins to fracture. The room was silent. Mrs. Carmichael stood perfectly still, watching, calculating, waiting for the moment she feared most, the moment the bond cracked, and then it happened. A sound split the air, a snap, like a branch breaking, like the one-wish willow. Bear gasped, Nikki convulsed. Mrs. Carmichael whispered, oh, no, 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 no. What was that? Mrs. Carmichael didn't look away from Nikki. The bond, it's starting to fracture. It hurts. Nikki clutched her head. It's burning. The willow hissed through both of them. Stop, you're breaking the root. Oh my god, that actually kind of hurts. Nikki screamed. Bear screamed. Ian shouted, make it stop. Mrs. Carmichael snapped, I can't. The willow panics. The lights flickered violently. The willow surged through Nikki's voice. Anchor vessel, you do not break, you do not defy, you don't choose. Nikki sobbed. Bear sobbed. The willow shrieked, not aloud. What? Inside them. I can't believe how this book is so ridiculous. The text, the tiny little. The second crack, another snap, louder, sharper. Bear's vision blurred. Nikki's breath hitched. The bond between them, invisible but unmistakable, flickered like a dying light bulb. Bear whispered, Nikki, I can feel it. Me too. Listen to me. The bond is weakening. That means the willow's losing its grip. I'm just going to kind of skim through this. So yeah, it looks like they break the bond. They kind of they keep touching each other and they tear the root apart. She yells, stop touching each other. The fracture deepens. You cannot break me, the whisper says. Nikki says, I already did. Bear says, me too, buddy. Mrs. Carmichael grabs the charm. Enough. A hairline. The charm has a split, a hairline fracture. Ian shouts, what did you do? Mrs. Carmichael says, I weakened it. Okay. Ian says, that's good. The chapter ends with a warning, is the next little blurb, and I'll read that. Bear lay on the floor trembling. Nikki lay opposite him, shaking. The bond between them flickered like a dying flame. Mrs. Carmichael knelt beside them. Her voice was low, grave, final. If the bond breaks completely, one of you dies. I know. Then what do? We prepare for the final break. Interesting. The shopkeeper returns. Chapter 26's title. That's a little exciting. Our old friend coming back into the fold. The room was still. It's always still. Mrs. Carmichael froze. Ian froze. They're always freezing. Bear, still trembling on the floor, whispered, no, not now. Nikki, barely conscious, whispered, I feel her. Oh, the shopkeeper was showing up. She closed the door behind her with a giant click. Good evening. No one answered. I see you've made a mess. Mrs. Carmichael stepped forward immediately. You should have stopped this. I did for 40 years. Not well enough. I'm not a miracle worker. I'm a simple shopkeeper. Why is she so calm? Because she's terrifying, Bear whispered back to Ian. The shopkeeper turned to them. I heard that. Let me see. Nikki shook her head. Don't touch me. The shopkeeper didn't. She simply looked. Oh dear, you pushed it. I tried to take the bond. Of course you did. You're young. You think sacrifice solves everything. Nikki's voice cracked. I was trying to save him. That was a little Miss Carmichael-y. The shopkeeper nodded. I know, and that's why the willow punished you. Nikki trembled. It hates me. The shopkeeper turns to Bear. She moves to Bear. He tried to sit up. He couldn't. Let me guess. You tried to resist. I don't want to disappear. Of course you don't. No one does. Am I dying? Not yet, but you're close. Ian shouts. Huh? Oh, calm down. He's not dying. He's just unraveling. The shopkeeper shrugged. Mrs. Carmichael stepped forward. Tell them what you are. Must we? Yes, they deserve to know. She looks around the room. I am not the willow's creator. I am not its master. I am its custodian. Ian blinked. It's what? The shopkeeper clasped her hands behind her back. I keep it contained. I keep it fed. I keep it from spreading. The willow doesn't want one bond, it wants many. It wants roots in every heart it touches. So why give me the charm? Because you asked for it. I didn't know what it would do. I should have been doing that kind of voice. No one ever does. That's why I chose to clarify. You choose wrong. That's why I try to choose carefully. I'm all over the place. You chose wrong. The air pulsed. The willow's presence thickened. The shopkeeper didn't flinch. She simply said, enough. The shopkeeper, Nikki whispered, why does it listen to you? Because I'm the one who keeps it alive. Why? Because without me it would consume everything. This bond is unstable, fracturing, and when it does, one of you will die. They both say, I know, at the same time. Good, then you understand the stakes. You prepare for the final serving and pray the all right one survives. You pray the right one survives. No, pray the willow doesn't choose for you. Chapter 27, the plan to break the bond. So many bad plans here. And the pull of finishing this book is I'm ready for this thing to be over with. The shopkeeper stood in the center of Ian's flat, not Sarah's, just Ian's, like a general preparing a troop for war none of them were trained for. Mrs. Carmichael crossed her arms, jaw tight, the willow pulsed in the air, not speaking but listening. The shopkeeper exhaled. We don't have much time. You are unraveling, she says to Bear. That sounds bad, obviously. It is, but it is not irreversible. What's unraveling, mine? It means the willow is pulling pieces out of him inward. Thoughts, memories, identity. If we don't stabilize him, he'll dissolve into the bond. Bear swallowed. I don't want to dissolve. Then focus. Stay present. Prepare yourself. This is already a disaster. I'm trying to flip this chapter. They don't seem to come up with much of a plan. They're going to go through some sort of ritual. It begins now. Chapter 28, the ritual starts. So the whole thing they talk about a ritual. Nikki there, Bear there, Ian behind Bear, Mrs. Carmichael behind Nikki. Everyone moved slowly, carefully, like stepping onto thin ice. Bear and Nikki sat facing each other, knees almost touching, but not quite. The shopkeeper had... Where was I? The shopkeeper had been very clear about that. Do not touch, not until I say so. The shopkeeper draws a circle around them. She knelt and drew a circle. Okay. Ian frowned. Why is that? A suppressant. It weakens the willow's influence. It's just around Bear and Nikki. As she completed the circle, the air shifted. The willow recoiled. Not violently. It loves to be clear about that. The shopkeeper shook her head. Ian whispered, it's working. I read that out of order. Ian whispered, it's working. The shopkeeper shook her head. No, it's beginning. Bear, place your hand near the charm. Then the charm starts to fight. The voice starts to tremble. No, no, no. The shopkeeper ignored it. Now they look at each other. The voice starts to tremble. You do not choose. The shopkeeper says quiet to the voice. Mrs. Carmichael steadies Nikki. They kind of keep holding on to each other. They speak. They do a little charm. To the willow, we acknowledge the bond. The willow trembled. We acknowledge the cost. And we choose to change it. And then Ian says, what's happening? It's resisting. That means it's working. Nikki says, I am the anchor. The whisper says, you are mine. Nikki says, I accept the root. The willow shrieked. Mrs. Carmichael grabbed her shoulders. Hold on, girl. The shopkeeper turned to Bear. Now the vessel. Bear swallowed. I am the vessel. You are ours. I release the root. And then the charm cracks. Ian says, that's supposed to happen. The shopkeeper shouted back, yes, and no, and also maybe. The ritual reaches the point of no return. The shopkeeper raised her voice. Now both of you together. Low power mode. The video kept going. Do I have a charger? Well, I'll finish the book. It puts me on the clock. Bear whispered, Nikki. Nikki whispered, Bear. And then they spoke in unison. I transfer the root. The charm shattered, the bond snapped, the willow screamed, and the ritual began. The ritual is just now beginning. And now the transfer. The ritual begins. The psychic pull. Very retarded of me. The anchor, the vessel do not break. The words weren't spoken. There's a lot of curse. Mrs. Carmichael tried to move, but the air held her still. It's begun! Inside the bond, suddenly, Bear is not in Ian's flat. He's in the forest, a dark, endless forest. Branches twisted overhead like skeletal fingers. Roots writhed beneath the soil. The air smelled like damp earth and old longing. Nikki stood a few feet away, or rather, a version of Nikki. They're in the woods. We're inside the bond. Where's the willow? It's everywhere. The trees shuddered, the ground trembled, the air thickened. Nikki grabbed Bear's hand. He didn't pull away. He couldn't. The whisper keeps yapping away. Nikki stepped forward. We keep going. Bear whispered, "It's alive." Nikki says, "It's afraid." The transfer begins. The thread of light snapped toward Nikki. She screamed. Bear reached for her. The willow wrapped around him. Nikki shouted, "No!" She grabbed the thread. The willow screamed. Bear felt something tear inside him. Not pain. This is just gibberish. Loss. A piece of himself being pulled away. "Stop, stop!" The whisper keeps screaming. Then Nikki says, "I don't care." Bear says, "Take it." The thread snapped. Back in the flat, sound returned like a punch. Bear gasped. Nikki collapsed. Ian screamed. Mrs. Carmichael shouted. The shopkeeper grabbed the charm fragments. The willow pulsed violently. The air shook. The lights flickered. Nikki's body convulsed. Again. Bear crawled towards her. "Nikki, can you hear me?" She opened her eyes. They glowed. Not human, not willow. Something in between. "It's in me," Ian whispered. "Oh, God." Mrs. Carmichael says, "The transfer worked." The shopkeeper says, "Nope." Everyone looks around. It only half worked. What does that mean? Because we only have 12 pages left. The shopkeeper looked at Nikki, then at Bear, then at the shattered charm. He looked at this, then this, then this. It means the bond didn't transfer. Then what happened? The bond split. Chapter 30. 2 anchors, no vessel. I feel like this would take less time if I just read it, but I'm trying to skim it. The moment the charm shattered, the ritual should have ended. The bond should have transferred or broken or killed someone. Instead, it split. A sound like tearing fabric echoed through the room. Not in the air, in the space between Bear and Nikki. The willow recoiled violently. The shopkeeper's eyes widened. Mrs. Carmichael swore under her breath. Ian screamed. Bear gasped. Nikki collapsed, and then silence. The shopkeeper realizes what happened. She knelt beside the shattered charm. "Oh no." Mrs. Carmichael snapped. "What do you mean, oh no? It didn't transfer." "Okay, but it didn't kill anyone, right?" Ian says. "No, it's worse. It's split. We already said that. What does that mean?" It means you're both anchors now. "And that's bad," Mrs. Carmichael says, "and that's impossible. 2 anchors is a disaster. The willow structure is simple. 1 anchor, 1 vessel, 1 route." She pointed at Bear. "You were the vessel. You were the anchor," she says to Nikki. Ian, but now there are 2 anchors and no vessel. Bear whispered, "What does that mean?" "It means the bond has no stabilizer. Like a table with 2 legs." "Exactly," says Mrs. Carmichael. "No. Anchor must have vessel, root must have host. You break the order," says the whisper. "It's angry, it's scared." The willow hissed. "You cannot be 2, you cannot be equal, you cannot be free." Mrs. Carmichael stepped forward. "Oh, shut up." The shopkeeper paced. 2 anchors means 2 emotional centers, 2 sources of power, 2 points of resistance. Ian nodded. "Okay, sounds good." Ian's always quipping. I will give them that. "You feel something." She pointed at Bear. "You feel everything she feels." She pointed at Nikki. "And you feel everything he feels." Nikki froze. Bear froze. "Oh no," Ian whispered. "Oh yes," the shopkeeper continued. "And without a vessel to absorb the overflow, the bond will overload." "Overload? What happens when it overloads?" "It consumes both anchors." "Consumes like kills?" "No, worse. It merges you. It merges them. It needs a vessel if it can't have one. It wants to fuse them. It needs a vessel if it can't have one. And it will." Bear whispered, "Nikki, I don't want to lose myself." Nikki whispered, "I don't want to lose you." So is Nikki free? Like, she just loves Bear, and like the curse just like, it kind of just worked. The One Wish Willow, like, we're gonna get out of this. Nikki's gonna love Bear, and everything's gonna be okay. Good then become one, is what the willow whispered. "Good then become one." The shopkeeper stepped back. Her face was pale. "This is worse than I feared. The willow doesn't want you to kill you anymore. It wants to merge you permanently. And if we resist, what do we do now?" "We run." Last chapter, I think. It has to be. It's not. Second to last chapter. The escape. The moment the shopkeeper said, "We run," the willow reacted like a wounded animal. The lights blew out, the air thickened, the temperature dropped so sharply, only Ian's breath fogged they'd feel the need to say. "Anchors, anchors, anchors, you do not leave, you do not escape." The willow blocks the exit. Ian sprints to the door. He pulls the handle. Nothing. He pulls harder. Still nothing. Mrs. Carmichael barks. "It's not locked. It's held." The willow hissed. "You stay, you stay, you stay." The willow recoiled. The door clicked. The shopkeeper opened the door. "Go," she said. Ian yanked it open. They spilled into the hallway. The willow follows. The hallway lights flickered. The air pulsed. Bear stumbled. "It's coming." Mrs. Carmichael shoved Nikki forward. "Keep moving." "It's pulling him back." Bear's legs buckled. Nikki yelled that it's pulling him back. the shopkeeper said. Of course it is. He's half bonded. Nikki turned, eyes glowing faintly. Take me instead. Bear felt the pressure ease. Nikki felt it slam into her arm. Mrs. Carmichael caught her. Girl, stop offering yourself up like a sacrifice platter. She talks like some sass to her, Mrs. Carmichael. Nikki whispered it wants him more. And yeah, it still wanted Bear. Down the stairs, they reached the stairwell. The lights flickered. The willow stopped. Bear stumbled. Nikki screamed. Ian grabbed Bear's arms. Stay with me. Halfway down the stairs, the willow struck. A psychic blast. Bear hit the wall. Nikki hit the railing. Ian nearly fell down the stairs. Mrs. Carmichael swore loudly enough to scare ghosts. The willow whispered, you are mine, you are mine, you are mine. At the bottom of the stairwell, something moved. A shadow, a shape, of massive roots and branches twisted together into a vaguely human silhouette. The willow, not fully manifested, but enough. Oh, hell no, Ian said. Bear whispered, it's here. It's following us, Nikki said. The willow stepped forward. I don't know how there's still a chapter here. Out into the night. They ran outside. They burst the building's front door and stumbled into the cold night. Bear collapsed in the pavement. Nikki fell beside him. Anchors, 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 you could not run. The shopkeeper turned to the group. We have minutes, maybe less. Where do we go? Where can it not follow? There's only one place. The shopkeeper nodded. The willow. Bear froze. Nikki froze. You want us to run toward the cursed tree? The shopkeeper nodded. Yes, because that's where this ends. So we're going to the root of the curse. Back to the willow, rewritten to a line within the film. So they wrote the chapter, and then he was like, you're going to need to give me something more. The night felt wrong. Not just cold, not just dark, wrong in the way the opening of a nightmare feels wrong. Familiar shapes, familiar streets, but everything felt off. Slightly tilted, slightly watching. Bear recognized the feeling. It was the same feeling he'd had the night he made the wish. The night everything started. The night the film would one day begin with him already broken. Alright. Now he was walking back towards a place where that version of himself was born. The pull toward the beginning. The willow tugged at him with every step, not physically, but emotionally. A pressure behind the ribs, a whisper in the spine, a memory he didn't want to remember. Nikki felt it too. Her breath trembled, her hands shook, her eyes flickered with the faint glow of the half-root inside her. Ian hovered between them, terrified to touch either one. Mrs. Carmichael marched ahead, cracked charm in hand like a weapon. The shopkeeper walked with the calm of someone who had seen this path taken many times and rarely with a happy ending. Bear whispered, it feels like the first night. Nikki whispered, it feels worse. The town begins to distort. As they moved closer through the quiet streets, the world reacted. Street lamps flickered in sequence. I feel like I'm racing against the iPad dying. Like something was following them from above. A dog barked once, then whimpered. A curtain twitched in a window. A car alarm chirped without reason. The willow wasn't calling them, it was reaching. Ian swallowed hard. Is it spreading? The shopkeeper nodded. It's unbound, it's desperate, and it's looking for a vessel. Bear's stomach twisted. In the film, he would be that vessel, hollowed out, lonely, vulnerable. Tonight was the night that version of him began to form. Halfway down the road, Bear stumbled. Nikki gasped. This is it. Nikki gasped at the same moment. They both clutched at their chest. Ian panicked. What's happening? How are we going to wrap this all up in one page? The shopkeeper didn't slow. The split bond. It's destabilizing. Bear groaned. It feels like something tearing me. Nikki cried out. It's tearing me too. The willow whispered. Merge, merge, merge. Ignore it. Bear shook his head. I can't. Nikki whispered. It wants us to become one person. That's horrifying, Ian whispered. The shopkeeper said quietly. That's the point. They reached the edge of the woods. The same woods Bear had walked into alone on the night he made the wish. The same woods that would haunt him in the film. The same woods that would haunt him in the film. The place he would never speak about. The place that shaped the man he became. So he never speaks about it, but it is the place that shapes him in the film. The trees looked like silhouettes from a half-remembered dream. The air smelled of damp earth and old longing. The path was exactly as Bear remembered it, but he wasn't the same boy who walked in that first time. He was already becoming the man the film would introduce. Haunted, hollow, carrying a secret he couldn't explain. Nikki stared into the darkness. It's waiting. Bear whispered, it always has. Mrs. Carmichael said, too late to turn back. Ian muttered, I wasn't planning to turn back. I was planning to run screaming. The shopkeeper stepped forward. This is where the bond was born. She pointed into the darkness, and this is where it will end. The willow whispered, come home. Bear took a breath. Nikki took a breath. They stepped into the forest together, and somewhere deep inside the tree, in the One Wish Willow multiverse, a version of Bear would one day appear, lonely, damaged, and already marked. So this was just an alternate reality, and or created an alternative reality, but in this one, they should have ended up together. I think it was a great book. I think it was a great read. I think it really expands in the lore quite impressively. And page 146 is entirely blank. I think it's unbelievable. I've never read a book like that. I've never encountered anything like that had a mid-book twist quite like that. And I thought it was logical. I thought everything was airtight. I thought it was good. I thought it didn't go in circles. It didn't really drag at all. I thought the chapter lengths were a little too long. I thought that you could a little drag down when you go 4 pages. Try to keep it 2.5, hopefully. Next, Obsession 2, The Resurrection, if you want to join the book club. The curse didn't die. It waited. Months after the Willow's voice fell silent, Bear Bailey wakes in a hospital bed with no memory of how he survived. Nikki Freeman is gone, vanished into the night, leaving only blood, guilt, and a trail of impossible coincidences. And somewhere beneath the city, the roots are moving again. As the police close in and the dreams return, Bear begins to hear the Willow whisper once more, not as a haunting, but as a command. Every streetlight flicker, every shadow shift, every heartbeat feels like a countdown. To find Nikki, Bear must follow. He wants to find her. Bear must follow. I guess that makes sense. Bear must follow the curse back to its source, through the ashes of the first bloom into the forest that remembers everything. But the Willow has changed. It doesn't want worship anymore. It wants resurrection. Love becomes hunger. Memory becomes weapon. And obsession becomes the only way out. I'm excited for that one, but before Obsession, The First Wish, unbelievable, folks. I would say 5 stars. Thanks for watching, if anyone even did. Like and subscribe, and comment below what you thought of Before Obsession. Thanks for watching.